All right. Did I even bring my phone over here?
No idea.
Uh,
You in the
go
right?
ahead. Go ahead.
We in the right positions?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we are. Why you tag me in this cringe shit on Twitter?
I will when I get my.
Why? Why you do this? This is very cringe.
Doing on my thing right now. Oh God.
This is
Okay.
very, very cringe Twitter stuff. Why you tag me in this? Did you see that his bio? Did you see that shit? It said Christian nationalist,
Who?
traditionalist. The fucking flog that you tagged me in the post.
When I said Jack, is this you?
Like the guy I clicked on his profile, his bio is like conservationist, traditionalist, Christian nationalist, like fuck right off. And then it has Bible quote in his fucking bio too. Like fuck out of here.
I don't. So, like, obviously, you don't have the Pledge of Allegiance because you're not a fascist country.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, are you supposed to salute your flag there? Is that a thing?
No, that is
Like the
not a thing
national
at
anthem, do
all.
you salute or do you put your
No,
hand over your heart
no,
or anything like that?
nope. Some people do, but they're weird.
What
Most
one?
people, most people have probably forgotten the words of the national anthem.
The hand over the
I
heart?
don't remember them.
Like at a baseball game.
No, never. I think
They take their
the
hats off and
only
put the hat
thing
over the heart
no,
like the Yankees
the
do.
only thing that would elicit any sort of response like that would be Anzac Day. And that's
What?
April 25th. That's the only time. It's so weird at the football game, they have a minute silence. It's 110,000 people dead silent in a stadium. It's wild. It's such a weird experience being there. It's very strange. But that's the only time that Australians really
So let
ever
me
give a shit.
let me ask you this, all right?
Mm.
How do you feel? Okay. I'm gonna. You let me know if you don't follow what I say here, and I'll reduce it even further. How do you feel about Colin Kaepernick kneeling on the flag?
I don't give a shit.
Like, well, but no, obviously you don't give a shit. But like, as an Australian, seeing Americans freak out over that, how does that like?
Oh, I think it's insane. I think the entire culture around the American flag is very strange. It was by far the weirdest thing in America that I
So
ever
like,
experienced.
you know how people will do outfits out of it and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you do that at all, like to be
Nope.
funny or
I
ironic
mean,
or anything like that?
maybe out of jest on Australia Day. Maybe. And even then, it's like cheap shit from $2 stores made in China. Like it's Australian flag sunglasses or like little flags for your cars or stuff like
I'm
that on
surprised
the
like
approach to Australia
the
Day. And then
ultranationalists even have anything to like rally people with.
no idea. Nothing really. Again, Anzac Day, that's probably the only real thing that any
I'm just saying, like the whole thing that we're about to see a real patriot here,
mm,
right? So like they do the nationalist, the patriotism thing that they do.
yeah.
Like I don't understand how Australian nationalists use patriotism. They have to use racism. It's all it
It
has
is
to be.
racism. It is
It's
racism.
not even covered up at all, I assume.
Yeah, all Australian nationalists are racist.
Oh,
It's
oh,
natural. It comes with the territory, right? Because to be proud of Australia is to whitewash its history, right? And it's the same with New Zealand, right? New Zealand's the same, except the New Zealanders or the Maoris, I should say, I think fought
I
back a little
think
more.
I think for most countries you have to whitewash their history.
Yes, yeah, but it's a special kind of whitewashing because it's whitewashing a lot of genocide
Yeah, the
and a
specific
lot
colonial
of
genocides.
yeah, it's also tied to British nationalism. I find a lot of British
Do you know
nationalism carries
do you know
over.
about Bolvari Bolvari Bolvarism?
No.
It's Hugo Chavez's ideology,
Hmm.
right?
Uh-huh.
So Simon Bolivar was like he was like the Grand Colombia guy, you know?
Okay.
Like when all those states were united under an empire, he was the guy running it, right?
Mhm.
And like he's like a military type guy, like a military like prestigious Napoleon type figure who thought,
Okay.
you know, how Napoleon's ego is, right? And so like Chavez, he named his ideology after this guy because it's like a weird fusion of like National Socialism.
Okay.
So
Right.
like it's not like saying that like they're different than the people who colonized the place, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
They're like
I
literally
mean,
being like, we were those people. We built these
yeah,
mines. We colonized this place. It's ours, you know?
weird. That's a weird take on it.
Yeah,
But
there's this
I
book.
guess that's
I'll figure out what it is while we listen
I
to a
mean,
real patriot's thoughts. But
yeah, I
there's
guess
this
that is what it is. I mean, even the like it's really two extremes in this country. It's like you're either this white nationalist kind of Australian patriot type, or you are this sort of state loving socialist type which thinks that the entire state should apologize and bend knee to the remaining Aboriginal population. And I'm just like, just fucking eh, symbol. Uh, I completely lost that word. Just like
symbolic
in a symbolic way, give the country back to them. Give the community some kind of control over what the country does, at least domestically with the land, at the very least, and rectify at least as much as you can what happened. I mean, fusing the Aboriginal language with English would be great because that's what happened in New Zealand. Like their English is fused with the native language and it flows flawlessly. It's great. And I'm sure that there are issues, but probably not as many as there are with the Australians and the Aboriginals. I don't know. Just thoughts. Just thoughts.
Was reported was actually related to my son's account.
And that is Marjorie Taylor Greene blaming her own son for accusations she made big insider profits on the stock market.
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually asked my team about that today, why my name was on the list, because I don't even own any stocks and I haven't all of 2023.
Stop.
But as Ross Story reports, the Georgia Republican appeared in a report published Tuesday that named her among members of Congress who made the most money on the stock market. The study published by market analysis group Unusual Whales said many in Congress made unusually timed trades resulting in huge gains. The study said
What
Green
you
made
mean
about
insider trading in
18.6% on
Congress
her trades,
exists?
higher than
No.
average, but below that of some other members of Congress.
As a matter of fact, we have to report everything, including children who are dependents of ours. And I think what was reported was actually related to my son's account that his father and I had set up for him years ago.
Headline: Marjorie Taylor Greene mocked for throwing son under bus when asked about stock trades. As new
I mean, look, if it's the true story, it's not really throwing him under the bus, it's telling the truth. Really.
It's not though.
But whether it's the truth is the question. That's the real point.
I'm trying to
Newsweek
remember the
first
name of
reported
the
the
book I read.
ridicule has been intense. Michelle on X. So she is feeding insider info to
I love that the Young Turks is quoting random number 2.
Oh yeah.
Just quoting a random person. That's hilarious.
It's open source intelligence, bro.
her son so he can have an illegal leg up when trading. Is that what she's saying? Mark.
Yeah.
Using your son as a shell to buy and trade stocks.
Random number 4.
So the Unusual Whales is a trading company looking for customers. They're not always accurate in their reporting. But thank you for bringing that up and letting me address that issue.
All right. Well, maybe your son will have a better year.
Green shares 2 sons and a daughter with her former husband, and the lawmaker did not clarify to Jesse Waters on Fox which son is responsible for the stock market gains. Previous disclosure filings by Green show her children do own some shares, and House members sometimes disclose assets owned by dependent children in addition to stocks and investments owned by themselves and a spouse. Technically, Marjorie Taylor Greene may be correct that she herself did not own any stocks in 2023, but it's a little strange that she would fall back to that defense given her children clearly benefited from whatever.
I just realized that this is the voiceover guy talking.
Yeah. I kind of was like, oh, that's the okay. This
that
is
was
the guy.
really strange.
Yeah, it did come on strange. I agree.
For financial advice or information
Okay,
was helping
I'm glad you agree, and I'm not just really high.
the entire family. And as Jesse Waters noted, members of Congress last year did much better than the percentage increase of the S&P 500.
After a lackluster 2022,
I hate this guy's
23
face.
was a hot year for stocks.
Jesse
The
Waters.
S&P
This is
500 was up 24%.
Oh,
So
is
how's
he?
your portfolio
Yeah.
looking? Bet it's not looking as good as members of Congress because politicians.
I totally love him
crushed
for
the
doing this
market
story,
last year.
though. It's so funny.
Their performance smoked, and I mean smoked, professional money managers who do this all day for a living.
So who was number one? It actually was not Green. Rather, it was a Democrat heading for retirement.
Coming in at number one, Democrat
Wow.
Congressman Brian Higgins from New York. He was up a whopping
What is spy?
239%. And he's going out on top. He's leaving Congress in February. Smart.
Congress has consistently refused to pass a ban on lawmakers engaged in insider stock trading. And that could be because the amount of money they are making is huge.
Our lawmakers made over $1 billion in financial transactions.
Is this all? Like, is there nothing else about her? Here we got more. Okay, let's skip.
Rest of
a lot
us,
of this stuff
the
was
connection is
over.
clear. As for Marjorie Taylor Greene, I suppose we shouldn't pick on her for engaging in the sort of activity that is replicated by countless other lawmakers.
Nah, fuck
But
that
most
bitch.
other lawmakers will at least be honest when confronted about these sorts of financial loopholes. Greene always seems to fall back to, it's not my fault. That wasn't me, it was somebody else. Also, Greene has a
Classic
long
narcissist.
history of attacking other people who have not broken the law, but who have engaged in action or policy she doesn't like. Recently, Greene was
Fair
called
enough.
out on this to her face
is
on the
everybody.
House floor by a fellow Republican.
By failing to abide by due process and constitutional
though.
constraints.
That is Tom McClintock of Arkansas. The Republican is trashing Marjorie Taylor
Kansas.
Greene's attempted impeachment of a cabinet secretary and declaring it takes away from the GOP impeachment effort of President Biden.
Ms. Green is tainting this serious impeachment inquiry with a shoot from the hip stunt that is reckless, partisan, and manifestly unserious.
Reckless, partisan, and unserious. It was a brutal floor speech to Greene's
Manifestly
face. Moments
unserious.
earlier, introduced
Please.
articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas
What the
over
fuck?
the influx of undocumented immigrants.
The ongoing invasion at our southern border is
Invasion.
a direct national security threat against the states and against the citizens therein. Secretary Mayorkas has willfully
This is the
abandoned
thing
his
that they're
duty
doing.
to
They're
secure
trying
the
to say
border
Biden is
and protect
Biden is
states
committing
against
treason on the country because he doesn't let Border Patrol do their job as a counter to
Insane.
Trump actually like breaking laws and stuff and being investigated for it.
I thought they'd be happy with Biden finishing the wall.
No, well, you see, this is all just because this is what the thing is that to get funding to Ukraine, what's going to happen is that we're going to kill migrants. That's
Right.
the GOP's price, is that we're going to have to kill these migrants.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Right? Because it's only going to piss off Biden's voters, just like the arms to Israel. Because the U.S.
Yes.
isn't going to say, no, we're not going to sell you arms.
Yeah, exactly. It's money. It's income.
Mm-hmm. Because like the recent arms package that Biden approved, right?
Mm.
It's because Israel bought those weapons.
Yeah.
That he went over Congress to authorize the sale. Israel
Mhm.
paid for those weapons.
Okay, so it wasn't like a arms
Yes.
package.
No, it was not like a gift.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Invasion.
An invasion, that's what Green and other conservatives call the efforts by Spanish-speaking people who cross the border illegally. Never mind if they are seeking asylum or fleeing violence and terror in Central and South America, or think they can provide better for their family in America with, market returns on investment simply by coming to the United States.
Like, think about this in the United States, right? The only thing that's like gotten them to cut people off was when they found out Turkey might be buying missiles from Russia that could train against the F-35. That's literally what it takes. It takes you jeopardizing their weapons, and then they won't sell to you.
Yeah,
that's the only straw. So you can just commit as many massacres as you want with their weapons, but you better. And like, Israel fucking sold our jets to fucking China. Like, why the fuck are we fucking with them?
Still, it doesn't make any sense. Well, it does. It's the amount of money in politics from Israel. That's what it is.
So careful. That's anti-Semitic.
Okay.
The irony is that Republican McClintock agrees this is an invasion and that Secretary Mayorkas has failed to do his job.
If Ms. Green is successful in redefining impeachment, then the next time Democrats have the majority, we can expect this new definition to be turned against the conservatives on the Supreme Court and any future Republican administration. And there will be nobody to stop them because Republicans will have now signed off on this new and unconstitutional abuse of power.
In other words, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to impeach a Biden cabinet member who was not doing anything illegal or criminal. He was simply engaged in a practice or policy Greene doesn't like. But when it comes to stock trading and using insider information in Congress to make a killing on the markets, Greene ignores it. Yes, the trading is legal, but Greene cannot even be bothered to condemn the stink and horrific image of the lawmakers' insider trading practice. Instead, Greene simply deflects and blames one of her sons.
This is just an opinion.
Once again, Marjorie Taylor Greene appears to have no shame and no integrity. And on top of it all, what kind of family values does Greene really have if she's willing to throw one of her kids under the...
For some reason, because like that's what I was laughing at, because it's like TYT Sports, this is sports.
Yeah. Why are they talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, it's professional wrestling.
Yeah, literally.
How about professional wrestling? Are you jealous that you don't have it?
Not really. Couldn't care less.
It's pretty cool, man. For like something that's like a American pastime that's overlooked.
Yeah, it's very American. You're right. Anyway, let's move on to the next.
23 was a hot year for stocks.
It's literally
the S&P 500 was up.
Another TYT report on the same story.
Might be the same one.
No. It's a different one. It's a different one.
Jesse Waters.
They all did. Okay, TYT is now just doing reports on a Jesse Waters story at this point. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it's great. It's just what we want.
Just 24%? Literally like eating the crumbs that fall off his plate.
So how's your portfolio looking? Bet it's not looking as good as members of Congress. Let's take a look back at 2023's best performing stock pickers in Congress. And then we have Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who beat the market by 13 points.
Last night, Jesse Waters did a brief segment on congressional stock trading and called out several lawmakers by name, including a Republican lawmaker.
Like I watched like the first minute or so. It was amazingly low effort from TYT. Like some of the lowest effort I've seen them put into something.
Interesting.
Representative Dan Crenshaw. Now, to say that Crenshaw melted down in response is putting it very, very lightly. We'll get to his genuinely unhinged reaction in just a moment. But first, let's watch more of what Waters had to say, what his coverage included, and how he provided details. And I commend him for this. He provided details of this recent report by Unusual Whales.
You are garbage.
Overall, Democrats outperformed Republicans by about 13 points. Our lawmakers made over $1 billion in financial transactions this year. A lot of them investing in companies that they had inside information on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what corruption looks like.
True.
So apparently Crenshaw was super bothered by the fact that he's getting called out by Waters. And like, he didn't actually call Crenshaw
It's
out by
funny
name. Like
because
he
it's
just showed
technically
the
not
graph.
corruption because it's legal, right?
Yeah, sure.
But then they all are ashamed of it and have to act like it's not happening, just like any other
Exactly.
like corrupt politician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like the corruption index is weird. It's like perception, you know, like it's like polling the people. How corrupt is your government?
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But I want to see if there's any type of index that like gives points to the United States in any way like that.
I'm sure there is.
That includes Crenshaw's name on it. And he engaged in this like insane, insulting tirade against the Fox News host. And well, let's just give you the example. So he put out a series of Instagram stories, 5 to be exact, starting with this one. A lot of curse words that I have to kind of bleep out here. Hey, you effing hack, if you're gonna accuse me of literal corruption, get your facts straight and man up and come accuse me to my face. You're a effing clown, desperate for clickbait. And then he continues to say, I literally have $10,000 invested in stocks and haven't made trades in over a year. I have never had more than $20,000 invested while in Congress. Fox knows this, but they're desperate for fake controversy to get clicks. Waters is a tool, making millions to push conspiracies on TV and bash veterans like me, who are barely a fraction of his net worth. Wake up, America. The political entertainment industry is almost
Does that happen in
always
Australia? They ever
lying to
invoke
you.
their veterans?
No, again, it's not as like it's almost shameful. Like people don't really talk about it. It's not really open like that.
Good.
He also posted this. This is the list that Waters is using. I'm pretty far down on it. Why choose me? Because he's an effing clown chasing clicks. He knows people will recognize me.
And index. Like
Dan,
I said, it's like
don't flatter yourself.
Basically, United States 24 out of 180, but Ireland, right, where all the capitalists hide their money, is ranked 10 out of 180.
Oh, that's funny.
Because Ireland, we're not corrupt ourselves. We just allow everyone else's corruption to happen here.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Corporate corruption, yeah.
Don't flatter yourself, Dan. Come on. He's like, I've got a lot of name recognition, and he's specifically singling me out because it's gonna get more attention. John, what are your thoughts?
I mean, look, I can't say with 100% confidence, but I think he kind of has a point because I didn't even see that amongst his story. And when you were playing the video and they were showing the graphics, I looked at it and I was like, I read the report. I don't remember that listing of names. And so I've looked through it again. That is not taken directly from the report.
This is
he
so
was
weak.
selectively removing
ready?
names
so
that those would be
What do you
there.
think of Jenks stand-in?
Worse.
Okay, go back 5 seconds. Well, you got to hear her reaction because we paused right on it.
Dan Crenshaw's name, if you were going from the top, would not appear in a graphic like that. Jesse Waters and his selectively removing names so that those would be there. Dan Crenshaw's name, if you were going from the top, would not appear in a graphic like that. Jesse Waters and his team specifically removed other people's names so Dan Crenshaw's would appear on the list.
Wow, John Idarola with the investigative reporting.
Bro,
that is amazing.
Very mild.
Bro,
what is happening?
Bro, he looked at the original list and it's investigative reporting. She's blown away from it.
Fucking hell.
Like, is she dunking on him, like doing like a low key?
I think she's being sarcastic. That's definitely what it sounds like. Typical Anna.
I
Honestly.
don't know. I think she's impressed by somebody Googling something.
I'm fucking better than you.
What is this? Google.
No, that's impressive. I'm glad that you double checked. Wow. Okay, well then, before we get to the rest of Crenshaw's rant, which I guess to some extent is justified. I mean, look, I don't pay close attention to Jesse Waters. Even when Jesse Waters says controversial things and people urge me to cover it on the show, I find Jesse Waters so boring and so obviously intentionally inflammatory for attention that I just ignore him. So I don't know what possible conflict he has with Crenshaw. Do you know anything about it?
I mean, look, I think Dan Crenshaw has been, I think, like fighting with a lot of people in this sort of like MAGA-y, Trumpy world for quite some time. I don't know how deep the conflict goes, but I feel like this is something that's been brewing for more than a year.
You know what? I will allow it. It's fun. I mean, it's rare. I mean, it's not that rare these days, but for the longest time, it just felt like conservatives were united, even if there were.
I'll allow it.
It's the contempt. She has such contempt for everybody. She's just so high and mighty. Feels like she's better than everybody. So it really is appropriate that we have.
I'm fucking better than you.
I love watching him lose his shit.
That's so good. Getting angry over nothing.
What did him and
Like
Anna fight over that we were watching? That was like literally nothing.
It was so irrelevant. I don't even remember.
Slight differences among them. They seem to provide cover for each other, and I was a little jealous of that because we could use at least a little of that.
There's
on the
another
left.
moment where you can tell they do
but-
no prep for the show. They just show up.
I mean, I don't really understand what their beef is. What's
It's the
at heart of their
Harvard
beef,
plagiarism
But I want to
shit.
give you.
That's what he was, and he just kept cutting Anna's story off. Not like she wrote it, but she still had to read it to make time, and he kept just like running it into the ground repeatedly because he was angry. It's like, bro, you're sabotaging your own show.
Yeah. His network too. It's insane.
More of his social media post, Dan Crenshaw's that is. He says, "I'm sitting here trying to feed my 3-month-old, and this dirtbag millionaire
I have a
is
kid.
accusing
I'm
me
a
of being
veteran.
a criminal with zero evidence. Stop watching these mediocre entertainers."
isn't it?
You know, I agree with him on that. Stop letting wealthy elitists like Jesse Waters claim to be fighting for you. They live in Manhattan and can't stand normal people in red states. They think you're stupid and feed you BS to rile you up. A lot of things I agree with there. Losers like Waters grew up with a silver spoon. His family is made up of well-connected journalists and politicians. And for some reason, people are fooled into believing he's some genuine blue-collar conservative.
I do like this.
Yeah, he's such
Crenshaw isn't really anyone's ally, but the thing is that there is like a fascist select people in like Congress. This is why nobody gives a fuck about Congress, right? Like only like 1 in 10 Americans care. But this fascist like subgroup inside the Republican Party, like you either actively tell them to shut up because they're like making a like fool out of the institution, or you just like try to stay out of their way. And Crenshaw has never been a person who's stayed out of people's way. So he's just always been confrontational with these people.
It's great.
Conservative, he cheated on his wife and then left her with twins while he went off with another Fox producer. And let's be honest, Jesse Waters seems like the type of dude who pees sitting down.
That's hilarious.
That last one aside,
so
Anna,
funny.
where's the lie?
I mean, is there anything?
My guy, you too. Jesus Christ. Talk about self-awareness. Holy shit.
Wrong with dudes peeing while they sit down? Like they don't get that nasty splash
if you have
all over the
genital
toilet
piercings,
seat.
you basically got it.
Should we?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because just like depending on how they go through, like a standard PA, right? Like it's gonna like bisect the stream.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Wouldn't that corrode the
No. It's because like that's the same type of shit that they're gonna put in you like from surgery and stuff. If you're like getting like real metal and stuff. And actually like the like gay leather daddy who basically started the professional piercing industry, like if I have his book. And in there he's talking about how even back then in the 60s, the shop that's piercing dicks down the street was using like such worse metal. And he was like, and like even back then the sourced metal wasn't even that great. But like so especially in America, it goes by the American Society for Testing Metals. And the typical piercing is going to be F-136 certified implant grade steel.
Okay.
and then the other
And it
one
has to
that
be
you might see. Yeah, it's got to be like certified implant grade.
Okay.
And then
okay.
also like they do other things that's even like above the rest, because normally like if you buy like a piece of jewelry from Walmart and you take the bead off of it, the screws will be on the post. Right? So like proper jewelry is internally threaded, so the screws are inside the post. So you're not like putting a jagged screw end through a piercing, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of things. And there's even like even then like a lot of like with Prince Albert's you'll see a lot of stuff where they're closure rings, so like the bead is like closed inside the ring. So it's like a pinch, you know? Like it's like you bend the metal to pinch around the
Open
bead.
it. Okay.
Open that type of jewelry.
Interesting. I don't know why you would get that piercing. It's so wild.
It's one of the easier ones to do, and
to do, I'm sure, but I'm sure its maintenance sucks.
because you can put a receiver inside the pee hole, so you'll like put a Q-tip in there, but not a Q-tip because that leaves cotton behind. But like back in the day, that's what they would do, you know.
Yeah. That would be the most uncomfortable thing you would ever do. That just sounds horrible. No thanks. You do you.
I filmed a lot.
It's
I
wild.
photographed a lot too. Like
I don't know if I could watch it. It's fucking that would be hard to watch.
Bro, this is kind of like too much of a story, but like
but here we go.
My friend Lucas, actually I've already said his name. I've gone too far. But no, I was with him and he got some work done by one of my friends, and like I was just like sitting outside the door, and it was really funny because he was just going, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch.
That's very funny.
Theoretically, there are other ways to not get that splash, I suppose, with a little bit of skill and discipline and focus, mental acuity. No, everything that he said is right. Not just about Jesse Waters, but about virtually every one of these right-wing pundits, especially on Fox News, but the independent right-wingers as well. Every one of them thinks that they're smarter than the dumb hicks that they're conning with their content.
Holy shit.
They wouldn't want to spend a single moment alone with any of the people that they condescend to.
It's literally these guys. They are talking about themselves.
The vast majority of them are incredibly wealthy and choose to live, as basically every Fox host does, in East Coast big cities, mainly New York. I mean, even Sean Hannity today was like, I'm moving to Florida, as if he's like giving.
Hold on. I'm gonna Google.
Up on New York. No, he just owns houses in like 7 different states, and so now he's calling the Florida one his home. But he still has a pricey house in New York City. It's all a grift. It's all fake. And this segment in particular is fake. So like he's using this, Jesse Waters, as a way to say, I critique corruption. Okay.
Where do you think they are?
Who?
The Young Turks.
Where are they located?
Yeah.
LA?
LA.
What
the
about
most
this guy,
expensive city.
What about this guy though? Where's he calling in from?
I have no idea.
They're a little fill-in boy.
But they're talking shit on all these people in New York, in the New York news scene, right?
Yeah, but you see, you understand, because they're Republicans, they're not allowed to have money, right?
Of course.
Right? It's the same thing with the Hasan critique.
Of course. They're not allowed to have money. Got it. But these guys, they're allowed to. They're allowed to flaunt all their money and live in LA and probably drive really expensive cars.
They're not pretending not to be elitist, so they can be elitist.
But these guys are literally talking about themselves, like the Republicans and all these people aren't exactly the same kind of people. The grift is the same.
Okay, so what do you want to do? Do you want to ban individual stock purchasing and ownership amongst members of Congress?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we've been calling for that. Is he doing that? You can, by the way, if you want to be like you're the big warrior on corruption, you can go way further than that. Hell, make it so they can't own the mutual funds and the ETFs and all of that stuff. Make it so for 20 years after they leave office, they can't get hired as lobbyists. Make it so that they can't take campaign donations from wealthy individuals and corporations.
These are all great ideas.
Yes.
Cut their salaries. You can go way beyond that. No paid speeches.
I'm fine with their salaries.
No big
there's
deals.
guys like Bernie and Joe Biden who like have just like worked the job every day and haven't like been scummy.
Yeah, the salaries are fine for the most part. It's everything else. Why work play button?
I pierced Andrew Cuomo's nipples.
No.
I said I pierced Andrew Cuomo's nipples.
Paid podcast, no cameo. If we really wanted to make sure that the people who go into office are there for our interest, not their financial interest.
No. Cameo's fine. Paid podcast, fine. Yeah, they're busy people. Pay for their time.
You can charge it because that's what Biden did was speaking
appearance fees. Yeah. Obama the same. But yeah, it's the same. I have no problem with speaking fees. If people want to pay Obama $500,000, just have a dinner. Sure, make that bag. Get that bag. It's a big bag.
You could go way further than Jesse Waters is, and you could do that because he doesn't actually give a damn about this. He just cosplays as a populist an hour a night on Fox News.
Look, that definitely may be true. And I think Fox News and conservatives in general lately have engaged in the faux economic populism that drives me crazy because they, typically never want to help ordinary American workers when push comes to shove and love deregulation and tax cuts for the very corporations they're pretending to want to rein in. But with that said, I do want to note that simply covering the story on an outlet like Fox is important because now you have conservatives, you have people like Marjorie Greene, like in denial about their stock trading activity. And it informs the public about what's going on. And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't really matter. American voters find this incredibly disgusting and distasteful and corrupt. And
yet they do nothing about it. They do nothing. They don't march on the streets. They don't write letters. They don't call. They don't do shit. They just sit by and write their fucking bullshit on Twitter, thinking that it's actually going to do something, and then nothing happens, and then they cry about it, and then they go back to doing fucking nothing. Actually do something, you fucking clowns. Like, if it's that much of a problem, actually get it changed. It isn't that hard. You live in a democracy. Like, 5 people whinging a lot will change something. It's insane.
Just drawing attention to it alone, I think deserves some props, John. And I hate that I've been put in a position to give Jesse Waters of all people any props at all. But the more attention that reports like the one that Unusual Whales puts out gets, the better. And I hope that these politicians feel increasingly uncomfortable about their stock behavior. And in fact, there's already some evidence to prove that. The latest report by Unusual Whales indicates that their stock.
I'm fucking better than you.
What I'm gonna do is we're gonna be ranked.
Is this his cult hat?
It must be.
Like, is he Moroccan? Is that why he's got the rug and the saber and the hat?
I don't know. He might be.
King communists. So let's get to it.
I wonder if he's Moroccan. I wonder if he calls himself African. That would be fucking awesome.
And oh boy, I'm excited to do this. All right, let's do it. Okay, so this is just like they put all the best ones in. Marx.
We should do one.
Engels, Lenin, Stalin.
See if he's got a link to the
Mao, in that order. I don't think anyone else is going to make it up there, to be honest. I'm pretty convinced no one else is going to make it. Now, Chairman Gonzalo is going to E, which is generous because I should give him an F, but I'm giving him E. And the reason I'm going to give him an E is because he's kind of this interesting Kantian fanatic. And he did boil babies alive and shit, but is he worse than Gorbachev? I don't know. Probably not. Khrushchev is actually going into F, okay? Oh, Brezhnev. I think Brezhnev is C tier. I don't hate Brezhnev. I think Brezhnev, I have a relative sympathy for Brezhnev.
The music is awful.
Reason. I just think Brezhnev was a little red pill sometimes. on his whole orientation. He's kind of a hardliner a little bit. And I don't know, the Brezhnev era I like Soviet stagnation, Tarkovsky, all that. I like the stagnation. This is just so obvious. He's going last. Yuri Andropov, is that him? I don't know.
Instagram. This has got to be like an old one because it only has 3,695 followers. But it says his Instagram name is Hazal Gal, right? Which is like clearly an Arabic thing.
Okay.
So I guess I think he must be.
Someone on Reddit's like he's a Mongoloid and he's not.
I saw that. Yeah, I already saw that. I've already moved on beyond that. Yes, that's right.
Troll wiki. Here we go.
That's right. Like this right. How can you put like he nobody came closer to ending America than Khrushchev. Like, how do you not put him in S?
This is based in Detroit. Hilarious. I don't see anything about early life. Okay,
that's too much about him. Okay, Malenkov. I think Malenkov should go to
see. Also, Alexander Dugin, National Bolshevik. National Bolshevik.
I like winners. Malenkov wasn't a winner. Molotov is in the same boat. Voroshilov, that's a B tier if I ever saw him. If not an A tier. I mean, I'm close.
Anti-intellectualism. Huh?
See, the thing with the tier list, I don't know how some of these guys are.
His name is Adam. The communist leaders? No idea. His real name is Adam.
Haz?
Hmm?
Haz's real name is Adam? Good for him.
Yeah.
I just want to know if he calls himself African because that's funny.
Yeah. I don't know where he comes from. I can't tell. There's nothing saying anything about it. Just says based in Detroit. That's it.
Maybe I'll move him up.
This is funny. His community is based on a mixture of Marxist-Leninist symbols, right-wing populism, esotericism, and revolutionary chauvinism. Sounds like a Nazi.
Trotsky's F. I mean, that's an F. Right? I mean, how do you get worse than Gorbachev? You just beat Trotsky. Sverdlov, B tier. Bukharin, I'm going to put him before Trotsky because I think Bukharin is, it's in this order, like Khrushchev, then Bukharin, then Gorbachev, then Trotsky. In that order. Zinoviev, I think, right there. Karl Radek. I'll just put him right there. He looks good there. Kalinin, good guy. Krupskaya. Now, I'm tempted to put her in C. I'm tempted to put her. As far as historical greatness is concerned, not too sure about that one. Rosa Luxemburg. All right, this one's going to be tough.
Because somehow reads the theory.
A communist tier list.
We have Jews.
It's either going to be C or B, and you know what it's looking like to me? It's looking like, because she never got it. I like Luxemburg. She's a hero. She's a heroic martyr.
They referenced the Protocols of Elder Zion. I mean, I wrote that
book. I'll put him above
That's a great book.
Karl Kautsky, E. Probably better than German Gonzalo here. You know what? Kautsky deserves a little better. I'll put him right there. I'll put him here, okay? Because he did found the Second International, and without that, Lenin wouldn't be a thing. I can't read these. Chernikov.
Imagine if Lenin wasn't a thing, how much better the world would be. Fucking hell. Oof.
Who the fuck is this? Valko Chernikov. Is that Czech Republic? Who's that? Who's Chernikov? Bulgaria. All right, I don't know who the fuck he is.
How do you
so for those that I can't...
Huh?
I said, obviously that guy's from the Balkans.
Can't have much of an... Wait, he's under the Stalinist Bulgaria, right? I'll put him here then. He can go right here. Otto Grotwal. Is this a German Stalinist politician? Let me see. Yep, he's going to be up there with Mr. Valko.
See,
Wilhelm, I don't know like how...
No, I guess not.
Bro,
weird.
They even got Kim Jong-un's sister.
The Kims, the entire Kims.
Bro, I can't wait for Pol Pot.
Oh my god.
strong of an opinion I'm supposed to have on this guy. He's a German Stalinist. Okay. What was he known for? I don't know. I don't feel like these people belong on the list. They're not like relevant enough. I'm going to keep them off the list. All right. Enver Hoxha. I'm going to put Enver Hoxha right here. You know what? He's going here. I like Hoxha. He's going right here. I want to put like thinkers who had some historical significance, not just like random politicians. Rakosi. So because of 56 Hungary, he's somewhat relevant, I guess. But he failed. I'll put him here. I hope I didn't get that confused for the reformist guy. I'm pretty sure he was the hardliner. Right? Rakosi. Yeah, he was the hardliner. Good. I'll put him there. Dimitrov is is that fair? I think
I can't believe people unironically watch this content. It's no surprise that he only has 30,000 subscribers compared to the other ones.
Only 3,000 followers on Instagram. He is one of the loudest though.
He is. He's like he's just a loud.
Hey, I like the last video we watched.
We'll see how this one turns out. There's nothing in A tier yet.
You guys do this. Do the communist tier list. I don't know who half these people are. I don't know who 70% of these people are.
Yeah, I don't know who most of them are. Because they're not relevant.
And I guarantee you all the actual good communists aren't on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch Zapata not be on there.
Or Sankara. Or
Oshalan. Oh, Sankara will be on there for sure.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Writer, after all, right? Or you know what? For the memes, I'll put him in A. Kim Jong-il. You know, I respect him. I'll put him here. Fine, B tier. Kim Jong-un. I'll put him a little bit above his father. Right there in B tier. Kim, don't know who she is. She's his sister, but like I don't know what she's known for, what she's all about. Like what are her policies and shit? I don't know what her
She got is. Trump to bow to Kim Jong-il.
What is her position?
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea.
Kim Jong-un.
I have no
Yeah, no shit.
Like
that
was
such an embarrassment.
Like she's the only one who will communicate with that. With like you can't even talk to him directly.
Yeah, you're talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that he's prepping his daughter to take over, not her? Well, they reckon.
Well, I think it's more about like dynasty stuff, you know, like she could coup him if she wanted to. She owns.
I reckon she could as well. Yeah. But yeah, they're prepping his daughter to take over. Whether he steps back or not, I don't know. It won't be for a while though. It'll be interesting to see whether she has a heart.
Who? The daughter?
Mm.
She's got a pig heart.
We'll see.
No idea.
Yeah, Hinkle is so bad. Haas barely doesn't even really need a handler, it seems, you know?
Yeah. Jackson Hinkle is
literally
disappointing. So many people fall for his shit. Is all I'll say.
He literally has handlers. It's wild.
Yeah.
Is or like what she's all about, what she wants. Kim Il Sung. Ooh, okay. This one is gonna be pretty high up at the top of B. Zhu Enlai was an outstanding politician. I'll put him here. You know, I kind of want to put him. Yeah, Zhu Enlai, great guy. She's not worse than Trotsky, but I'm gonna put her here. Mao made a huge mistake promoting the shit out of her, and big mistake. I'll let her stand in for the whole Gang of Four. How about that? Ho Chi Minh. You know what? I'll put Ho Chi Minh right there. He's like perfect there. He's very overrated in my view.
Fuck off.
Look, I like Ho Chi Minh. I just hate all the people who fucking. It's just like Thomas Sankara. It's like all the people who just fucking glorify the shit out of him are usually all my enemies. So I'm not ranking
Luna Oi.
High up.
Enemies with Luna Oi. I'm totally on Luna Oi's side.
I'm on her side too.
Whatever it is, I stand with Luna.
Yeah. Whatever they fight over, I'm with her.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
Sorry, I like Ho Chi Minh, but my perception is
Ho Chi Minh is
American leftists.
Awesome. Ho Chi Minh is awesome.
Yeah,
like,
right.
What a leader, you know?
Okay, so this is that's not even negotiable. Okay, that's not even negotiable. James Connolly. Connolly was there.
What was that about
James Connolly was there.
Pol Pot?
What?
He skipped over Pol Pot or something?
No. It's just a weird edit. I have no idea what happened.
There, I'll
Pol
put
Pot
him
was
right after
there
Ho
for a
Chi Minh.
second, and now I don't see him anymore. Like he was on the list.
Don't know.
Eric, Walter, Ulbricht, and Honecker. We can't do both of them. We have to choose one. I'll choose Honecker, and I'll just say kind of cucked out a little bit.
No,
You know what?
That is.
I don't like this fucking guy. He's like, don't like him. Is he worse than Khrushchev? No, he's just.
Khrushchev's ass.
All right, I can't wait to do this one. Fidel
Ass.
Castro's right here. Okay, I
Correct
like.
choice.
Oz is
Correct placement.
Oz is fucking insane. Are you kidding me?
For which? For Castro?
Castro's the man.
Nah, fuck Castro.
Think about all the shit he did to like antagonize America and stuff. He's also Cuban Missile Crisis. It wouldn't be a Cuban Missile Crisis without Castro.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't
There's an argument there.
Castro is not a he literally was the villain of that era.
Yeah, that would at least qualify A.
Yeah, and he's so cool.
Mm.
You know, always like Saddam wishes he could be as cool as Castro and as gangster as Castro.
Same as Kim Jong Il. I think he should be A as well.
Oh, see, I think his son is cooler and better.
You reckon?
Yeah, Kim Jong.
There's no Team America about Kim Jong Un.
Yes, but there is a movie about him.
So there is. You are correct.
But
it's a good movie. It's very funny.
With Kim Jong Un, like he's funny in the ways that he's supposed to be funny. You know, like when he's trying to look cool and like watching missiles go
with these
off.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, and then like the Dennis Rodman stuff is like so funny.
The Trump stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you make a point.
I think Il is an icon. Like an all-time. He's an all-time icon.
He is.
Right?
He really is. Much more than his dad, I reckon.
But as far as is like if I'm saying like who has been a better person to live under, I would much rather live under the sun, right?
Yeah, objectively, yeah. I think that would be the correct choice. Although none would be a great choice.
Fidel a lot, but he's no Che Guevara, and also he's the father of Justin Trudeau, which
he's like
make me happy.
we was talking about how
Bishop.
you're making us look slim, and then they cut in with the Office intro. You know,
was Maurice Bishop an anti-revisionist? I don't remember. He was like Fidel,
this
but he
is
didn't
exactly
succeed.
right. Oon is a low
think he
cow,
was.
and that's why I like
Was
him. Like it's funnier when they're fat, you know. It's just like comedians.
Yeah, fat guys falling down is funnier.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kids.
Family Guy.
See, well, nothing against them, but winning is a must. All right, Allende is really fucking bad. I hate Allende. Actually.
What?
All right,
what
Che
is going on?
He's going right here. Che Guevara. Why? Because he wanted to fucking launch the nukes. That's why.
You know, Che's a homophobe fuckwit.
I am so blown away by this list. This guy's opinions are like so bad for a communist.
Yeah, they're awful. Really, really bad. Che was an awful person. He deserved what he got.
This was a man with.
Huh?
I think that when you read his like stuff on like warfare and stuff, he is a genius.
Oh yeah, he was a warfare genius, but it doesn't make him not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That deserved what he got.
And he's so cool, man.
Balls, all right? This was an anti-revisionist, sided with China.
That's where Pol Pot is.
Oh, there we go. I did see that.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Your opinions are fucking awful.
Better than Fidel, way better. Love Che Guevara, absolutely giga-based, and he gets A tier. You know, I'm kind of tempted.
That being said, he did put Lenin and Stalin in S, so this is no surprise. And Mao.
I don't think that's as
Well, he's-
controversial.
Stalin?
I mean, well, you can just attribute it to he helped beat Hitler. He rebuilt the Soviet Union.
Did he help
afterwards,
beat
too.
Hitler, or did he stand by and
Hey,
make
I'm
a
just
fact
saying.
of them?
I'm just saying it makes more sense than some of the other guys he's putting around. You know, like
I would say Stalin is a fat fucking F tier.
Look, if I was making the list, I wouldn't put Stalin in S. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that putting Stalin in S is a lot less controversial than putting like fucking Allende in F. Like, what are you doing? Like, how do you call yourself a communist and put him in F?
Kind of go here and then base. Hugo Chavez, right there. Perfect.
Come
right
on,
at the end
bro.
of B tier. We have to
Awful.
credit the Chavismo. This guy
No,
is.
he should be
put him right here.
higher.
Not bad. Actually, put him here.
Who's
Tito
that?
goes here because he
Tito,
was
where's
horrible and all.
he? Is that the?
Nicholas something.
What is it?
Oh, that's the Romanian guy that got killed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fuck that guy. That guy was shit. F. All of them F.
Office, but his accomplishments during World War II cannot be underwritten. Kyrov, I'm not going to rank because it's just not. I know it's kind of arbitrary because it's like, you know, Kaganovich is the Stalin groupie. I know I already ranked Molotov and Melenkov. It's too late, right? Daniel Ortega, right there. Malcolm X, B tier. Actually, I mean, okay, if I put Malcolm X up here, I got to
Also,
put
Malcolm X is not a communist. He never identified as a communist.
Yes.
He's just anti-capitalist.
He wasn't. Yeah, you're 100% correct.
But still,
I don't
S.
hate him. Not going to totally write him off, but really overrated. And Huey was a little unhinged. He was a little unhinged. A little bit not all there.
Are you talking about Haas here? Imagine being that hot and being
No, he's talking about Che Guevara.
Oh yeah, bro. I would suck him off so hard.
Okay, he'll go there. I hate this so much. She's worse than Bukharin. Yeah.
Get fucked.
You know what? She's worse than.
Who is that? Who
she's second.
Angela
she's
Davis.
Fuck off, bro. Also, I don't think she's a communist either.
Maybe.
The only thing worse than Angela Davis is Trotsky. Only thing worse than Angela Davis is fucking Trotsky. All right. Deng is up here, 100%. You know what?
Now this is throwing me off with the
perfect.
rest of his list.
This is so strange.
I would think that he would hate Deng Xiaoping, considering
So
the rest of
weird.
his list.
This is so weird.
But
I
you
love
know,
this, 'cause it's like
that is an A. You know, as far you put that is definitely someone I would put an A for a communist, right?
chronological. Mao, then Pol Pot, then Deng. It's like perfect, right? That's good stuff. Chiang Zemin. I got a soft spot for him. Put him right there. Hu Jintao. That's where he belongs. Xi Jinping. No, I think this is good. No, this is good. This is pretty good. Can't wait to put this guy. I'll put him here. Is he better or worse than? Yeah, I hate all the people that just won't shut the fuck up about Thomas Sankara on Twitter. So that's why I'm putting him in there. Should I piss off? Oh, Lin Bao. I already.
On where? On where? Sorry.
Twitter.
Where is this fucking? Where is this thing?
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. I've lost it. I've lost it. It's gone.
Yeah.
Where is
so
it?
Many.
There's so many. Holy shit. I've lost it. Time's gone. Ruined. Done.
She's like, yeah, he's a fucking bastard. Fuck him. I'll put him right here. All right, do I piss off the Somalis?
Weak
and just
and
say
bite
like,
game.
I can't put it. I'll put him right here. No one gets mad. Ooh, Ernest Dalman, I feel like is deserving. So he didn't win, which is a problem, but I'll still put him here because of his immortal memory. Gramsci as a theorist, he just sat in jail all day, but he contributed a lot to theory. So I have to give him that. I'll put him right there. You know what? Fuck it. I fucked this whole thing up. Put him in B. Sisson, I just don't give a shit about him. How about that? He's better than Gonzalo. You know, I'll put Sisson right there. Yeah, I'll put him here. Sure. I feel like this is kind of covered by Mao, you know, the culted late things.
I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real place.
Right? Mandela sold out at the end, and we can't forget that. That's my explanation. That's Mandela. Izhov, you know what? To just epitomize the excesses of the 30s, I will put this horrible guy right here. Should I do Beria? No, not even gonna do it. George Habash, I think he's perfect there. He was never in power, but he's better than MLK and Huey Newton. See, like, you guys have to understand my logic.
Bro, he's going so fast now.
Oh, it's because I upped the speed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That is so wild. MLK.
Nelson Mandela was in D? Bro, Saddam is on here.
What the fuck is happening? Assad.
Oh, he's going to put Assad in S.
Jesus.
If you were in power, that boosts your chance to be ranked higher a lot because it's like you want something about you is worth learning from. If you were in power, that means more than if you weren't in power. Now, obviously, sometimes people who are not in power can be above people who were in power, but that's because they're very exceptional individuals in terms of their contribution. Should I put Corbin? Yeah, Corbin is less worse than Jiang King or whatever.
I agree.
Less worse. Yeah, I'm gonna piss off all the fucking Maoists with this one. But Corbin, at least, like in the beginning, wasn't that horrible. To be honest, in the beginning, he wasn't that bad. You know, matter of fact, put him right before Kotsky. Nah,
No.
fuck him. I'm so sick.
Thank you. What the fuck?
He failed. It's like in the beginning he would be up here, but then he failed, so I'm putting him here. Jay Sakai. It's so hard. I hate Angela Davis. No, Angela Davis is worse. Nothing beats her. You know what? I'll put Gorbachev is worse. The Settlers were good, but it's like not on Gorbachev or Angela Davis or Trotsky level. This guy was a hero. He was a really good hero. I'll put him right there. Kind of insulting, isn't it? But it's like C is not bad. It's just like, all right, fine. I'll just put him right here. Limanov
This is what not touching grass does to someone.
is better than Sisson. And okay, he's not as good as Mandela, but he's better than Sisson. Both, so they'll be together in a happy marriage together. All right, Gaddafi. Yeah, Gaddafi. Where's Gaddafi? Where did he fucking go? Where did he go? Oh, he's in F. Gaddafi's not here. Oh. All right, get him out of there. I think Gaddafi's here. No, he's here. Perfect. This is perfect. Gaddafi's there. And I'm going to tell you why, right? I'm going to tell you like how I'm judging this and what my paradigm is. All right, so I'm going to explain like this, right?
Hold on. Fucking hell. We finally get an explanation.
So Gaddafi is like, he was a martyr, United States of Africa visionary. Gaddafi was a visionary and a great leader, right? But why do I think Hugo Chavez is better than Gaddafi? Because Chavez offered a model of mass organization that pushed the threshold of socialist revolutionary strategy beyond what anyone else had done. And that actually somewhat tempts me to put him here because these are great leaders. Don't get me wrong, but as far as what they have contributed to those of us who are not in power looking for paradigms and strategies, like Chavez was the first populist. That's the Chavismo. You know what? Chavez will go after North Korea. Sorry. Because there's a lot of cringe in the Latin American left. I have to just say, they're not as based as the North Koreans. There's a lot of cringe, like a lot of fucking pro-prostitute, pro-eco bullshit that I have zero patience for. But I have to look past all of that because of Gaddafi as a successful kind of like Caesarian socialist, you know. He inspired Michael Parenti's Julius Caesar thing. So Gaddafi, that's why he ranks higher than, Chavez ranks higher than Gaddafi.
I agree. This is what mental illness looks like.
Saddam was a bastard, an evil fucker. I'm going to put him right here.
What?
I'll put Saddam right there.
I'm so confused.
I'm so surprised.
I'm so confused.
I was not expecting that.
What is going on?
Was a bastard because we have like Flame of Liberation running around now because of him. I will never forgive that. Sorry, Saddam. You fucking burn in hell. I'll never forgive Saddam for Flame of Liberation. And you think I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm literally not joking. Like, I will go to Saddam's grave and fucking spit on him. Saddam was an evil fuck anyway. His son's Uday Hussein was a fucking going around being everyone like fuck Saddam. But these Saddamist people on Twitter are the outspoken piece of shit scum. And this, every time I look at Saddam, I think of them aggressive and hostile. And they like to fire the first shot. We never even came after them, but because we supported.
Do you say something?
The people who like Saddam on Twitter are the worst.
Yeah, they really are. I even turned the fucking speed back down. He's still going at the same speed, but we're almost done.
Iran, they like come at us, attacking us first out of nowhere. These people are unhinged, literally worshiping the corpse of Saddam. If it wasn't for them, I would be way more generous with Saddam. But it's like, if this is your representatives, fuck Saddam. You know what I mean? Period. Bashar al-Assad. Yep, that's exactly where he belongs.
No.
And I know where to put his father. His father's right in front of him. Assad's are C tier. And I support them out of anti-imperialism. They were very effective statesmen, effective anti-imperialists. I like Hafez's pragmatism. And Bashar is not too far away. So, but they don't belong. They're not like communists, you know, so they're not going to be up here.
No, Nasser, you're right. They're Nazis.
I'm going to do a spicy take. I might put Nasser after Hafez. You want to know why? Because Nasser
is not a communist. Do you know who this guy is?
No.
This is the guy in Egypt before Sadat. This is like the original Ba'athist. Like he is like the Arab nationalist guy, and like honestly, for a nationalist, was a pretty good leader. Like him and
Okay.
Sadat are like really, really good Middle Eastern leaders. They're just both nationalists, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can't really win with a lot of leaders, though. That's just how it is.
Yeah, there's always something.
Most authority is fucking dog shit awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Trade immediately after he died, and that's an L on Nasser's part. Because of his influence and his awakening of the Arab world, he's definitely better than Bashar. But as far as who was the more iconic leader, who was the more impactful leader? Nasser, okay? But who was the more effective leader? I think Hafiz al-Assad was the more effective leader than Nasser. Yeah, he just wasn't pragmatic, right? Hafiz was just an excellent statesman, and I have
it's two different worlds. Really confusing because like that whole like North African like almost like there's speeches of Nasser in Morocco and stuff, like also there's this political comic. It's like Nasser is like he's got bulletproof lore about him, right?
Okay.
And there is a recording of it happening, but they tried to assassinate him, right? And he's on the radio when it happens. You hear the machine guns. So they made this like cool cartoon, and it's funny because not funny, but because Sadat gets killed by Al Qaeda, precursor,
Yeah,
and was able to like dodge the bullets.
Fucking psychopath, like he's got that psychopath mentality. Hafez was cool, calculated.
They're all psychos. You fucking moron. What the fuck are you talking about? What a nutbag.
Pragmatic, no bullshit kind of guy. And then Nasser is not Saddam. I love Nasser, but we have to understand Nasser made a lot of mistakes, including the way he consolidated power. He got snaked in the end. He also was adventuristic. I wish I could just put these as equals, to be honest, but I feel like I just want to make the point that Hafiz al-Assad was a more effective statesman. Although Nasser was a better like visionary, Hafiz was a more
Hafiz al-Assad wouldn't be anything without Nasser.
Truly proving he knows nothing.
In this day and age, that's what matters more, So I'm putting him up there. Okay, my full list is right here. Now I'm gonna export it, and I'm gonna.
Okay, we don't care. Nikki Haley time. Okay, we just got clips because this is all we could find.
The second thing is you look at how he deals with dictators.
So
talking about Trump,
Nikki Haley will take on dictators and have the backs of our friends. It's a 30-second clip. Great.
The second thing is you look at how he deals with dictators. I think it's completely wrong. He praised China's President Xi a dozen times after China.
The dress is a good look if she's trying to go get that sort of traditional.
It
base.
Literally looks like the dress you get in Fallout.
It does.
That's the pre-war.
But it's like a very traditional looking dress. Like it very much appeals to that thing. So I think that's a good choice by her.
China gave us COVID. You don't do that. He congratulated them on the 70th anniversary of the Communist Party. We don't do that. When Israel fell to her knees, you're going to go pick a fight with Israel's prime minister because of some personal issue you had with him before, and you're going to praise Hezbollah?
I found it.
It's just not what we need to do. We need.
Found what?
The little cartoon. It's a thumbnail to a YouTube video, but
okay.
So because it's probably a YouTube video of the recording of the assassination attempt. So hang on, it should share. But you see, like the bullets are coming out of the gun and going around him while he's like talking into the mic. So when you can actually get shot at, which, and still like not be a coward, that makes you look way cooler than Hafez al-Assad.
I agree. Still can't find the actual thing.
Need to do this without emotion. We need to do this with a sane sense of how we're going to take America forward.
It's not a bad answer.
I don't know.
Next one's about taxpayers. So
To get our economy back on
So
track.
you mentioned you talk a lot about spending, and then you were talking about
Yeah,
taxes
so like
there.
Nasser was the first guy who, so like Baathism, like Saddam wanted to rule it all, Gaddafi wanted to rule it all, but Nasser was like the first like Arab leader who was like, we're gonna like unify, we're gonna bring back like a great empire. So like, yeah, so that continued, like it eventually became that was all that was left of it. But like the war in Yemen, Egypt's war in Yemen was part of this, where they're trying to make an Arab republic. And that's kind of what the Arab nationalism continued to be. Like Gaddafi believed in this as well, but Gaddafi was also like batshit crazy. And then he tried to do African nationalism because he hated Saddam and he realized the Arabs wouldn't unite under him. So then he was like, I'm going to be king of the black people. Like it's so bizarre. I didn't mean to do that again.
So when you ran for state senate, it was interesting. You were asked to sign a pledge to never raise taxes. And other people that were running against you, they did. They went and they signed it and they did it. It was, they all did it. You told the state newspaper, quote, no one wants to see taxes raised, but I think it would be closed-minded to sign a pledge. Would you sign that pledge now?
I would sign that pledge now simply because I've always been the type,
I need the votes.
Don't handcuff yourself. But I will tell you now, government has way too much money. There's waste in every agency. There's waste in the way we govern.
What about Donald Trump's debt? If she also makes a point about how he put us in debt, then what? Government has way too much money, but they're also billions and trillions in debt because of Donald Trump.
Yeah. How do you solve that? Default and don't fucking pay it because it's fucking imaginary bullshit anyway. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. And we have to, the first thing I want to do is go to every single agency, pull down all the bureaucracy, the red tape, the programs we don't need to have. Government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people.
She's taken some cues from Argentina, I think.
Well, this is just classic Republican, small government better. Elect dictator.
It was never
all power to federal branch.
Mm-hmm.
Never meant to be all things to all people. And we are seeing a bloated government that needs to go on a diet. And I think the only way we do that is we sit there and tell them it is now time for them to show the taxpayer a return on investment. It is not time for the taxpayer to continue to have to work for government. What do you mean?
I can see all the return.
Dave, you're exactly right.
Okay, new one. Immigration. Woo! I can see all the return. F-22s. Aircraft carriers, baby. There's the return. Keeping the trade routes open.
You can do both. And we have to do both. So the first thing is you look at the illegal immigration, all the illegals that are coming to the border. It is truly a dereliction of duty, what Biden is allowing to have happen. And to now think that
calling them illegals on CNN is not the right move.
Governor Abbott of Texas is trying to do everything he can to save Texans. And he's putting barbed wire up. And Biden is trying to go against him to cut the barbed wire.
Lol.
Are you kidding me?
That's funny.
Like, you can't go and risk people's lives. America right now is acting like it's September 10th. We better remember what September.
Like, to be like, oh, they're committing a crime.
Who are?
Like, just calling them illegal, right? Like, like they're committing a crime. Like, they're already criminals,
I mean, it is illegal immigration, but it's not really. It dehumanizes them, which is the point of calling it that. Which is why I think that undocumented is a better term. Migrant. There are other ways to say
I think undocumented is still, it conveys the same thing without like being like they're breaking the law.
Sure.
Like, you can still just be as low-key racist.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the people of color thing.
September 12th felt like, because it only takes one. So you have 8 million people that have come to the border, and they've only sent 140,000 back. That's it.
Heroism.
And so we're left with taking care of the health care of them, the education of those kids, law enforcement having to deal with them. What we will do is I passed one of the toughest illegal immigration laws in the country when I was governor of South Carolina. We'll take that national.
Yeah,
we
South
will do
Carolina,
a national
bastion of illegal immigration.
Verify program that requires businesses to have to prove the people that they hire in this country legally. We will defund sanctuary cities once and for all. No more safe havens for illegal immigrants.
Federal government, fucking big Captain Small government talking about big government actions. Love this. Great.
We'll put 25,000 Border Patrol and ICE agents on the ground and let them do their job. That's not happening right
Murder the brown people.
now. We will go back to the Remain in Mexico policy so that no one even steps.
You know, yeah. The thing is that there's people who have crossed it like
multiple times,
like and crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, there's a great documentary. So it's about guys. It's like Jeep enthusiasts, right? And so their goal is just to drive from the top of the road all the way down to like the bottom to the whole North American continent, right? But the entire documentary is just about them crossing the Darien Gap. Right? The rest of the road trip is like doesn't matter, you know, because the only thing that matters is if they can cross that gap, because other than that, it's just driving on a road, right?
Yeah.
So like just the shit that they're doing to try and get the Jeeps through, like building roads out of logs and shit.
It would be pretty crazy to watch.
Yeah, it's like an older documentary. It's from like the 80s or so. It's really good.
Okay.
U.S. soil. And instead of catch and release, we'll go to catch and deport. That's how we will close the border and get that to stop. But legal.
It's what?
The catch and release stuff, remember? Because like during COVID, that's what they were calling catch and release.
Yes.
Is that they would just, it was an instant, like, put them on the other side of the border. We weren't holding during COVID. And so these people started saying that it was a catch and release policy.
It was just
so literally you're saying you're going back to the COVID policy of catch and release, and you're just calling it catch and deport now.
Legal immigration. Our legal immigration system is completely broken too. It shouldn't take someone 10 years to become a citizen. And we need to be smart about how we do it. Presidents in the past have always said, set quotas. I'll take this many this year, this many next year. Instead, look at what does our economy need? I came from an agricultural state and a tourism state. Our farmers needed workers. We need to make sure we are focusing on the businesses that they are not struggling to find workers. And that's the part when you do it on merit. And that's how we need to bring people in based on merit, not just a random quota. Then you're building up your economy. You're supporting your businesses. You're making sure that we can all grow together. But we've got to make sure we deal with that. I mean, think about it. We have students that come from overseas. We educate them, and then we send them back home. I mean, that's lunacy. We've got to start using some common sense when it comes to that.
You mentioned Governor Abbott, and I wanted to ask you something specific that he's done, but also
Bro.
What were you saying? I heard what she was saying. Go on.
Just the whole thing about talking about the basing it on merit, right? No black people, only whites is what she's saying, right? As far as migration goes, right? That's what she's saying, basing it on merit. Yeah, I've heard that one before. But also, like, the thing is like, literally everything she's saying is shit that already happens. Like, the people who actually get immigration are ones that are already getting business visas.
Yeah.
They're not the undocumented immigration workers that like put our food on the shelves that are getting citizenship.
Yeah. It's people opening businesses and registering nonprofits.
Yeah, and employees of those businesses.
Yeah.
So
those damn fucking people.
So literally what she's saying. What she's saying is like the same system, but more racist.
Governor DeSantis has done. And that is busing migrants from border states up to sanctuary cities. 90,000, according to the tabulation, from Texas alone to New York, Chicago. And obviously, Governor DeSantis has sent migrants to Martha's Vineyard as well as Sacramento. Do you support Governor DeSantis doing that. Would you do that?
Well,
governor?
I'll talk about Governor Abbott because
I love
think he was
how every
courageous.
time
He
she
was the first
turns
one.
to the audience like she's a fucking children's TV presenter, bro. You know, I'm expecting Lamb Chop to be on her arm the way she keeps on turning. Like, okay, kids, we're gonna sing a little song about sharing.
It is very much that energy
To do it. But look at what he's done. You know, today I was watching Governor Abbott and Mayor Eric Adams kind of having different things to say. Governor Abbott, if the president won't secure and give security to the people of Texas, a governor has a job to protect your citizens. So he's busing them, but where is he busing them to? New York City is a sanctuary city. So you can't say we're open, we're accepting of everybody. And
she's justifying human trafficking. Very nice.
Is she gonna say that they're sanctuary cities? It's fine with them going there, or is she?
I think that's where she's going. Yeah.
Feel like I thought she was gonna be like, I support it. I'm against it not because of humans being pushed places, but I'm against it because they're going to sanctuary cities instead of places where they'll be deported from or something.
That could also be the angle, but I think she's going with the first one.
And then when they come to you, say, "Oh, I didn't mean it. Never mind."
So do you think it's been effective, the busing?
I think it's been hugely effective because all of a sudden, the rest of the country is feeling what Texans have had to deal with for so long. And I went to the border, and truly, what they deal with is unimaginable. Those ranchers having to look and see if every morning if someone died crossing the fence, having to pick up kids and turn them over to border patrol.
Somebody who does that type of shit. I don't know. YouTube is going to ban me for using racial slurs. Because, you know, you can't say the G word or the, you know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Just a derogatory term that the white people are reporting you for. When is the last debate? Okay, so
4 days.
Technically, the last debate was the last one we covered. This is a qualifier for a CNN special debate, so it's 4 days on the 10th, and then it will probably only be available to people with the CNN access. So we'll probably watch Hasan screaming at it.
Patrol. You look at what the sheriffs go through and the idea that they go and round up whatever illegal immigrants they can find before 7 a.m. Take them to Border Patrol. Border Patrol documents them and releases them until their court date years from now. We can't keep functioning like that. We are a country of laws. The second we stop being a country of laws, we give up everything this country was founded on.
That's pretty much what she said, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, how will she strengthen the economy?
Hi,
Governor Haley. So I'm going to be graduating from college soon, and I'm worried about the economy. What do you plan to change to make our economy strong?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But you know what Molly
you're
is
graduating from college
is the same
you're
thing.
not participating in the economy, honey.
That's why she's worried about it.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Nothing is going to affect you here.
My son is saying is the same thing that every young individual coming out of college is saying, and think about it through their eyes. Bless you. First of all, think.
It's so rehearsed, isn't it?
What?
The answers.
What about her saying bless you to somebody who sneezed?
No, that was pretty good. I think
that was like epic.
Yeah, that was good.
Think about the fact that they went through COVID. Then think about the fact that they watched our country go $8 trillion in debt in 4 years under Trump.
Okay.
And now we're saying, we're going to have to pay it back. And they didn't do anything to cause it. Then look at the fact that one,
less money, but we're in debt. Okay.
She's contradicting herself now.
Called it.
2, they're having to say, how am I going to afford to live? What used to be the American dream of buying a home, the average home buyer in America is now 49 years old. So that's so out of reach for them.
Because of why?
And so they're worried they're not going to be able to afford a place to stay, rent. They're worried they're not going to find a job.
What are you going to
They're
do?
worried about.
People are, you're literally just saying they're scared about this, they're scared about that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's
Why are
3
you
minutes.
explaining
So
to us what other people think?
she's setting up her statement. She's revving you up. She's prepping you. She's playing the game.
About the debt that the country is in and inflation that's gone up, that everything's more expensive. From their standpoint, they're looking at a country and they're wondering how they're going to get through. And what we owe it to them is to get the economy back on track. The way we get the economy back on track is to first acknowledge that there is a spending problem in DC.
Okay.
And it's not a Republican problem or a Democrat problem.
This is her
Both of
rehearsed
them did
fucking
that
line.
to us. I mean,
That's
you
her
look at that.
rehearsed line.
I
We've
told
heard
you
this
the
for
whole
months.
thing is it all feels the same. It all feels rehearsed.
$2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill that they passed with no accountability. They have now left us with 80 million Americans on Medicaid, 42 million Americans on food stamps. That's a third of our country. And then Republicans opened back up earmarks and pet projects for the first time in 10 years, pushing through 7,000 of them last December. We can't afford things like that. So when it comes to our economy and getting inflation under control, the first thing we need to do is claw back the over $100 billion of unspent COVID dollars that are still out there. Instead of 87,000 IRS agents going after middle America.
And I don't know if we'll see it here, but she does an I have a black friend thing in the only clip that I saw from this.
Oh, really?
So hopefully
Well,
CNN
there's
pulled
a
it in
few.
their little clip show.
There's a few here, so 2 are hidden.
America, let's go after the hundreds of billions of dollars of COVID fraud. 1 out of every $7 was spent fraudulently. If 8% of our budget is interest, quit borrowing. Cut up the credit cards.
What does this have to do with the
You have
housing
to balance
market?
a budget every.
She's telling you how she's going to strengthen the economy.
Yes, we need housing. Though.
She doesn't care about that. It's the economy. She's got to rehearse lines. She's got to do her lines.
Every day. I had to balance a budget as governor.
No
Why
way.
is Congress the only group that refuses to balance the budget? So we'll stop the spending, we'll stop the borrowing, we'll eliminate the earmarks, and I will veto any spending bill that doesn't take us back to pre-COVID levels. That will save us trillions. Then we're going to go and take as many federal programs as we can and send them down to the states. That will reduce the size of the federal government.
Every year, though, regardless.
So what?
That's going to like destroy the economy. To go back 4 years in spending.
Because the economy is bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be adjusted. These are just words, like the obvious.
Maybe if she's saying levels, maybe it has to. Maybe it's like an arbitrary, like line graph type thing.
Yeah,
for the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Yeah.
But it will empower people on the ground. Think healthcare, think welfare, think education if we started doing that. Right now, 70% of federal employees are still working from home 3 years after COVID. 75% of most of our agencies are sitting empty. We're paying for that. We've got to start getting the waste
government is shut
out
down.
of government. This is not
because
them
of
coming
who?
to us saying we need more money. This is us going to them saying, you did this. Now we're going to have to go and make the hard decisions to get us out of it. And we can do that. And then I think we need to open up the middle class. We're watching in America, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
Okay.
And what we need to do, it's why I want to eliminate the federal gas and diesel tax in this country.
Nice.
I want to cut taxes on the middle class and simplify the brackets. And then let's make the small business tax cuts.
Simplify the brackets. So a bigger chunk of the lower class is going to get fucked.
Yes,
that's where the most like differences are, is in the lower class.
And then a big chunk of the middle class is going to get fucked too when they get put in the upper class tax bracket. They're going to get fucked too. Nobody's going to be happy about this.
Permanent. They made corporate tax cuts permanent, but they made small business tax cuts temporary. Small businesses are the heartbeat of our economy. We can't just say it, we have to prove it. And that's what we'll do to get our economy back on track.
Who are you? Fucking the guy who used to smoke cigarettes with Obama. What was his name? The leather man, the man made out of
the guy
leather.
that sucked his dick. That guy?
No. This was the Speaker of the House, and he'd be over there smoking cigarettes on the balcony with Obama.
I'm not sure.
And that's what his
That's the controversy.
John B. something.
Not sure.
He was like always smoking.
Well, we've got Chief Zionist getting a question on Israel now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Look, boom. I just typed in Speaker of the House smoking. He instantly came up. First guy. Boom. Smoke. See, they know exactly who I was talking about.
Thanks, Google. That's so funny.
Let me just type in Obama because they were always used to smoke together. It was funny. Got a cigarette in his hand right there. There they are. Yeah, see, they're smoking on the balcony, talking to each other.
You are a very strong supporter of Israel. Do you believe the IDF operations in Gaza are disproportional to the October 7th attack on Israel, reprehensible as that was?
You know, I'm haunted by what happened on October 7th. And the reason I'm haunted is because 5 years ago, I gave a speech to the...
Everyone hates Ted Cruz. We got some Ted Cruz humiliation, I think, in the list today.
Yeah, we do. We'll make sure to include it.
Entire world at the UN.
Ted Cruz put him out of power.
And I told them that we knew there were maps. And these maps were held by Hamas. And it showed that if they could break through the barrier, it was how they were going to kill as many Jews as fast as they could. And it happened. And when you look at the situation that happened, and for anybody that says, why should we care about Israel? And my opponents have said it's Israel's issue. No, it's our issue too. Because 33 Americans were butchered that day. We have American hostages now as we speak. But Israel is a bright spot in a tough neighborhood. They're the tip of the spear when it comes to defeating terrorism. It has never been that Israel needs America. It has always been that America needs Israel.
At least she's speaking
and on that horrific day, when they beheaded those people, and
she should just phrase it like America doesn't run Israel. Israel runs America.
That's why they invest so much. Israel needs America. America does not need Israel. We could easily replace what they do with Kurdistan.
True. Very true.
And guess who would be more appreciative?
The Kurds.
Guess who wouldn't sell our fucking fighter jets? The Chinese.
Yeah. As long as the Americans don't have any caveats with the assistance, it's just like we'll give you.
Well, the thing is if we did that, it would make Turkey cry harder.
Yeah, fuck Turkey.
Yeah, because Kurdistan would be close enough for NATO territory.
Exactly. So just make Kurdistan NATO and
we'll
fuck
just be
Turkey
like,
off.
okay, Turkey, you're out. Kurdistan is in.
We'll recognize Kurdistan and make them NATO. Fuck yourself.
Burn those babies alive and took those girls out of the concert and raped them and dragged their naked bodies through the streets of Gaza. What did they say? Death to Israel, death to America. We have got to do three things when it comes to Israel. We need to give them whatever they need whenever they need it. We need to eliminate Hamas, finish them so they can never do this horrific stuff again. Okay? And we need to do whatever it takes.
Absolutely. They should pay for everything.
Just like Saudi Arabia. Like, you know what? Saudi Arabia is paying for their genocide guns.
Yeah. You know, they paid for it. They can do what they want with it. It's not great, but if it wasn't America, it'd be someone else. But then that's also questionable because you're kind of fueling the genocide as well. So it's like, yeah, it really is a tricky kind of scenario, isn't it? Because it's like if you don't sell it to them, they're going to buy it just from someone else who will happily.
Well,
sell
yeah.
it.
Well, that's the thing is that when the United States doesn't play ball with Israel, it's tranks in Saudi Arabia because Israel's not like afraid to go to Saudi Arabia for shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like honestly, like bro, nobody gives the UAE enough shit, honestly. They're always the guys that are in there being like, "What's that? You're committing a genocide? I got just the product for you."
What's their capital? Is that Bahrain?
Dubai.
Dubai. Oh, just Dubai.
Yeah, UAE.
Okay.
To bring our hostages home. In order to eliminate Hamas, it requires them to go into Gaza. Hamas does not care about human life. They use women and children as human shields. There's a reason that they have all of their areas underneath hospitals and schools. I've been there. I've been in those tunnels. They're very sophisticated. That's probably where the hostages are being held now. Gazans would be so much better off without Hamas.
They would be better if they had
But
homes.
I know and I trust that Israel will do.
Yeah, they would be much better off had they not had their entire homes flattened. You know, that I bet you they'd be great.
Abu Dhabi is Abu Dhabi. Oh, Dubai is not the capital. Dubai is just the big city. That's right.
Okay. It's still cleared it up. Still same place.
Yeah, Tom Cruise climbed the building.
Burj Khalifa. Doesn't it have unstable footing? Wasn't it like built on shit sand?
Well, I mean, that's why MBS is a genius building it sideways. You know, like everyone's built the tallest building, but who has the longest?
Whatever it takes to make sure they save as many people as they can. You have to know the difference between terrorists and civilians. That's what civilized countries do.
What about the people who wave
America's
white
a
flags?
civilized country. Israel's a civilized.
The fucking hostages that Israel shot.
Right. Oh, the Israeli hostages.
Yeah, they came out waving white flags and they shot
and
them.
they gunned them down. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Like, we didn't see them. Yeah, typical Israel.
Civilized country. Hamas is not civilized. They don't value human life. And they keep trying to put people in harm's way because they don't want it to happen.
Nobody
what I will
values
say
human life
is
in
when
this
everybody
war.
is putting the onus
Nobody, not one.
on Israel and on America to do something with helping the people of Gaza, where's Egypt? Where's Qatar?
Oh, come on.
Where's Turkey? Where's Iran? Where are all the pro-Hamas countries that say they care? Why is it on Israel? Why aren't they getting Hamas to stop?
Why is Israel committing a genocide and has been for 60 years? When you ask yourself that question, Nikki.
Where's Egypt? Egypt has been sending in aid whenever they could. That was like a big deal, like trying to get this Egypt trade truck going in.
They just need some poop trucks. Have you seen the poop trucks? Do you know about this?
Yeah, how there's UAE, they just follow the poop trucks around to figure out where they go.
Yes. It's so funny.
Why are they forgiving that brutality? Let's put the accountability where it needs to be.
On
Don't
Israel.
put it on Israel. Israel watched their people get butchered that day. If that was us, do you think we would do a ceasefire? Do you think we would stop? We would do whatever it takes to make sure that Americans were taken care of and that we had our say. And so,
okay, so what you're saying is that you would do the same thing as Israel, which means you're also a fascist. Cool. Great.
Well, we knew this already.
Well, sure.
Also, like, America doesn't kill as many people as Israel has.
True.
They've literally like killed like the Iraq body count, like maximum estimate for the entire Iraq war. They've killed that many people. That's the entire Iraq war.
Gotta love that. Good job, Israel. Conscript army. Hell yeah.
I will tell you, I think Israel is doing what they have to make sure it doesn't happen again, because what did Hamas say? They're going to go back and do it again. They're not finished.
And an ambassador, and I know obviously you're ambassador of the UN, and that's in the capacity you went into the tunnels. Obviously, what's happening in Gaza, though, there was a horrific loss of civilian life going on as well, and a huge stratospheric loss. 2 Israeli cabinet members came out this week, and they actually advocated for relocating people from Gaza. Out of Gaza, basically Palestinians out of Gaza, and that there are some in the Israeli government that support that. Would a President Haley support that? Would you support removing Palestinians from Gaza?
I don't think you have to remove Palestinians from Gaza. I think you have to remove Hamas from Gaza. But I think you also need to make sure that Israelis can feel safe again. And the way Israelis will feel safe, they're not opposed to Palestinians being in Gaza. They're opposed to terrorists being in Gaza. They're opposed to terrorists being at their doorstep. And
should I bring up the video from this guy that just lists all the Israeli leaders saying that they will kill everybody? Until Hamas is gone, they will not, like, they don't give a shit. It's like very
also
clear.
Like literally the relocation plan is to send them to ISIS.
Oh, great.
Right?
That's a great idea.
Like literally, hey, who's using this territory? ISIS? We'll send them there.
Yeah, great idea. Awesome. Is that their plan to send them down into that little...
Yeah, to the Sinai. Yeah.
Great.
Where the only like ISIS chapter in Egypt can exist.
Fantastic. That'll end well. Yeah, ISIS definitely won't turn around and attack Israel ever. No, that will never happen.
They literally were part of the October 7th attack. Like ISIS agents were in there. Like they hired outside help for that shit.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's just like private military contracts.
Yeah.
Doesn't want Gaza. I mean, if you look at what Hamas has done to Gaza, Israel doesn't want Gaza. But the Palestinian Authority has proven they have an inability to lead. And the reason they have an inability to lead is they allowed Hamas to come in and do all of this to the people of Gaza. So I don't think we remove Palestinians, but I think they have to have some...
Why are you making me bomb you to death? Why would you do this? Why would you make me do this?
Because like Hamas seized power.
Yeah. Stop making me bomb you to death, please. Please, we don't like killing civilians en masse with bombs in indiscriminate bombing campaigns. Please stop making us do this.
Yeah.
That's what Israel's saying. That's what she's saying. Appalling.
It's crazy. You can like when somebody starts operating knowing they won't be criticized.
Yeah.
It's crazy how far they go. And finally, like some people are shaking their finger.
Yeah.
But MBS can only butcher one journalist, and it's all over for him.
Israelis, that they don't have to worry about terrorists living on their doorstep.
All right, Denise. Denise Haig is the director of human resources.
The Israeli government has like Israeli terrorists that are also like on their doorstep too, technically.
I don't care about that.
Well, those are ones that are closer to their doorsteps.
Yeah, but why would they care about that when they could bomb the shit out of Palestinians?
Is at a local arts center here in Iowa, a Republican from Waukee who says she's undecided. So Denise, go ahead.
Hi.
Oh boy, Denise.
Nice to meet you, Nikki.
Nice to meet you.
In the spirit of fun, I want to tell you I'm loving your dress.
Thank you.
See, I fucking told you.
My question is, do you see any inherent challenges to being president as a woman, or do you feel like we've evolved?
Do you mean globally, or do you mean?
Do you mean women have evolved? We're now superior creatures. We've went through an evolutionary cycle. Are you asking if I believe in evolution? Our mitochondria have changed.
As a country,
I think America has been ready for a woman, but it has to be the right woman. Right, I'm one of those.
Right.
I don't think.
I would just
and I think
my answer would just be like Margaret Thatcher was elected in so and so a year. I don't know what year
in the
80s.
Yeah.
And then also be like, I'm half Indian. Do you know how many women have been ruling in the Indian subcontinent?
Yeah, true.
Bangladesh women, two
Mhm.
women have been like going back and forth, right?
Mhm.
Like India had like, I'm not sure if they had a female prime minister, but like Gandhi's like sister or wife took over or something.
Okay.
Pakistan has had one.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a good way to go about it.
like a lot of the South Asia has been like really like one of the places where it's more likely to see women, because even in like Southeast Asia, you know.
Yeah. Holy shit, she was in office for ages.
Who?
Thatcher.
Yeah, she
11
literal
years.
dynasty, bro.
11 fucking years.
Yeah, exactly. So like this whole thing about is a woman ready for office, like just bring up Margaret Thatcher. And
Yeah.
then you can also maybe, because
The
depending
Queen.
on where you are, you can remind them that you're technically not like white in their eyes,
Mm.
you know, and
Maybe.
invoke your South Asian.
Depends on the
heritage.
crowd. Depends on the
Yeah.
crowd.
Women will agree to this. We don't support women just because they're women. I mean, we love to see women do well. I think women are rock
Was
stars.
she
I
going to turn
love
this
to
into a
see
trans
women do well.
question?
That'll be interesting.
But a president's a big deal, and it's a serious issue. And I think what we've seen in politics for really a lot.
Fucking baloney, yeah. I mean, she's all of Europe, really. Look at Germany. Germany had a female leader for ages. Fucking ages.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shit.
You're missing it. But Baloney didn't miss it. She understands it perfectly.
Baloney. Lately is they look at a label and they say, oh, we're going to get this label or we need this label. Well, that's what's gotten us into this
Yeah,
mess.
unfortunately.
And trust me, like, I think you look at what Biden's done and he said, I want this kind of Supreme Court justice or I want this kind of vice president. That's a mistake. I do think America's ready for a female president. I do think that America's been ready, but it's got to be the right one.
On president?
And they want to know it's somebody that's going to have fight. They want to know that it's going
Did she hesitate? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, she kind of.
to have somebody that has moral clarity. They want to know that it's someone who has experience. I have been a two-term
That it's not Hillary Clinton.
governor that took a double-digit unemployment state and turned it into an economic powerhouse. I dealt with Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, Israel every single day that I was at the UN. And I took the kick me sign off of our backs, and America was respected again there. So is America ready for a female president? You bet they're ready for a female president, and I'm going to be the one that.
She would be a good face as the first female president, though. Like, really.
Oh, check out this article I found from 2010. Obama and Boner should stop smoking. Hard hitting, huh? Washington Post opinions.
Great.
It's
Thanks,
literally
Washington.
like, you know, stop smoking. Tobacco kills more than this many Americans. You're a bad example, Obama and Mr. Boner.
That makes them
But
proud.
anyway, Boner used to literally had tears over small businesses, saying that they were the backbone of the economy. He cries so much. Watch, if I type in, if I just put smoker, the guy, right? If I put Speaker of the House smoker, and then I just put crying, it's also going to come up with pictures of him crying. Told you right away. See, instantly. They knew exactly who I was talking about. Every time he's crying here, it's about small businesses.
That's so funny.
All right, Marcia Aaron
Peace through strength. Here we go. Your motto.
is a retiree
My
from
motto.
Urbandale. Well, Marcia, we're glad you're here tonight. A Republican, and I know you also say you're supporting Governor Haley. Go ahead.
I'm Marcia.
But that's just the same lady as before. In black attire instead of red.
Oh, because all white people look the same, right?
That's the same lady.
Okay. I just want to thank CNN and Aaron and Caitlin for having this town hall tonight, and Grandview for hosting it. Also, Nikki, thank you so much for all
I
your
like to
time
call
in
them
Iowa. I really
freeloaders.
appreciate you.
I've
being
enjoyed
all
it. It's
over.
been fun.
Good. I am wondering how you would reach voters that are concerned that you are more of a war hawk
versus a peace through strength leader?
It's a great question.
That's the same thing.
That's first of all,
those mean the same thing.
It's pretty much.
I am the wife of a combat veteran who is deployed now on a year-long deployment. Any military family will tell you the last thing you want is for your loved one to go to war. My number one goal has always been preventing war. And let's talk about what's caused this. The rest of my opponents think that we shouldn't be in Ukraine, don't need to do anything with Ukraine. Trump, Ron, all of them has said, let's leave Ukraine. Let me tell you why Ukraine is important. First of all, you should know at the United Nations, Ukraine was one of our good friends. They voted with us on almost everything. They supported all of our initiatives, whether I asked them to or not.
That's true.
But here you have this pro-American, freedom-loving country that was invaded by a thug. 500,000 people have died and been wounded because of Putin.
You can draw a lot of similarities
I don't
between, like, if you want to invoke this, you could really draw a lot of similarities between Ukraine's revolution and Americans' revolutions, right? Because, like, you can see it as, like, because, like, we didn't have a king here, it was governors that they rebelled against, right? So, like, you could frame it as the Ukrainian president being just another governor of Putin.
Yeah.
And that they were like, you know, you can invoke these similar narratives, especially just looking at how Ukraine is the only country like in the world who has actually progressed as far as like democracy goes. Everyone else is like going down. They go up.
Yeah.
We should give cash to any country, friend or foe, because you can't follow it and you can't hold it accountable. I don't think we need to put troops on the ground in Ukraine. And the Ukrainians don't want it. They want to win this themselves. But I think we need to give them the equipment and the ammunition to win.
I think it was fine to put troops on the ground. They have to just enlist through Ukraine, though.
Yeah. Or go to the foreign legions.
Why should we care about Ukraine? Anybody thinking that, that's a legitimate question
you could totally
ask.
have
and
like,
I am sorry
Americans
that
enlist
Biden
and have
and
battalion leaders as like Americans, right?
Yeah.
Leading all American battalions, you know?
Sure, like theoretically.
But they just have to be under Ukraine's military.
Yeah. America wouldn't have they would have to not be involved.
Yeah.
They would have to go on
like,
their own volition.
We did it in the Spanish Civil War.
A lot of those early wars had a lot of people travel over.
no member of Congress is explaining that to you, but I will because you deserve it. When I was at the United Nations, I saw that terrorists, dictators, and thugs always tell you what they're going to do. They're amazingly transparent. Hamas said they were going to go into Israel. They did. China said they were going to take Hong Kong. We watched it. Russia invaded Ukraine. They told us they were going to. China says Taiwan is next. We better believe them. Russia said once they take Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. Those are NATO countries, and that puts America at war. This is about preventing war. It has always been about preventing war. We don't want our men and women to go have to fight.
True, but no, it doesn't. America doesn't have to go. It's an optional part of NATO. You don't have to accept.
NATO would fall apart, though.
If America didn't, I know. The Europe would cry.
Yeah, and like Europe would start turning on each other to form alliances with Putin.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Like it would all fall apart.
And so supporting Ukraine is actually preventing war and seeing it for what it is. And Putin has hit rock bottom.
I like this angle.
We know that. He's lost 87% of the troops that started the war. They've raised the draft age in Russia to 65. They're getting drones from Iran and missiles from North Korea. We know they've hit rock bottom. But now let me tell you something else that's really important, Aaron. I told you about that brutality on October 7th in Israel, right? October 7th.
Say butcher.
Is Putin's birthday. Who's the happiest man in the world right
Come
now?
on. Imagine if she
Putin.
invoked
Why?
Butcha.
Because
If
That
she
would've
said
been way
that
enough.
horror that you saw on October 7th, the Russians did that for 3 days or a week or however long the siege was.
That would have been good, but
And we have video on it. Just like
yeah.
just like we do with Israel.
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. and the West took all our eyes and our resources off of Ukraine, and what did we do? We started looking at Israel. And did Putin go and call Netanyahu in Israel? Nope, not for 10 days. You know who he did call? Hamas. Invited them to Russia, and they held hands and said they were friends.
Well,
See this for the connection that it is. China and Russia held hands before the Olympics and named themselves unlimited partners.
Nice.
There is an unholy alliance of China,
This is
Russia,
great.
and Iran.
Unholy.
Bound
Bro.
together.
I like
in their
this. This is great. I like
Unholy.
This
That's
is
some
great.
Reagan shit, you know? Like nobody used the word
Yeah.
evil before Reagan said evil empire, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was just not a
Interesting.
thing. It was just like Russia was different than us.
Interesting. I like this. Honestly, I like this. Like, if I'm looking at it
Bro,
objectively
look at
from
her.
like a Republican voter,
This is
I
going to
kinda
be
like
her fascist salute. Here it comes.
hatred against freedom, democracy, and above all things, the United
She
States of
still has it.
America. Our job is to always prevent war and protect Americans.
All right, we're
SCOTUS
done.
fight.
All right, we're done with that one. Let's watch.
That was a rough one.
That was pretty rough.
Nikki Haley decided to rename her husband
Back here.
and then brag
We're back here
I'm
because
fucking better than you.
about it in her memoir. We're finding out about this now, even though her memoir was written in 2012, because
we have
she's running
nothing
for
better to do.
president. People or kind of poring over what she has said and done in the past. And so this apparently has gone viral. Her memoir from 2012 is titled, "Can't is Not an Option, My American Story." And in it, she talks about her relationship with her husband, what it was like when they first met, and how she decided to rename him because he doesn't look like the name that he wanted to be called.
Whoa.
You may be wondering how Bill became South Carolina First Gentleman Michael Haley. After we started dating, I looked at him one day and said, "What's your name?" Okay, let's just pause right there.
We need a soundbite that is just someone saying, "Why is this news?" We really do. The amount of fucking times we would use it.
I'm gonna read it again in case you missed it, okay?
I'm fucking better than you.
After we started dating, I looked at him one day and said, "What's your name?" It's like such an odd way of framing this.
So I look at him on our third date. I roll over and I go,
You
"Who the hell are you?"
Garbage.
So I look, politicians are awkward, but we're just getting fun. It started on the fun
Yes.
awkwardness.
Well, we're
So
just getting started
let's
on the
keep
fun.
So
We're
he
just
responds,
joshing.
"You know it's Bill," he said, puzzled. "You don't look like a Bill. What's your whole name?" "William Michael," he responds.
So in reality, she didn't rename him. She chose to use
Bro,
his
I
middle
told
name
you,
instead.
I told you I found good TYT shit. Like
This is
so,
insane.
Isn't it so like how low these stories have been from them? Two different divisions of them made a story about Jesse Waters' story.
And now they're talking about this. This is like if I started dating someone and they were like, I don't like the name Jack. I'm like, use my middle name.
Oh, just wait. That's the story.
Okay. So from that point on, she writes, I started calling him Michael. And all my friends did the same. When he transferred to Clemson his sophomore year, my friends became his friends. And before we knew it, he was universally known as Michael. Everyone who knew him before I did knows him as Bill. And everyone who met him after I did knows him as Michael. He looks like a Michael.
I didn't say
He
only
looks like a Michael.
news.
He looks like a Michael.
Michael.
Wow.
Okay, look, I guess it's not that big of a deal, but
I'm fucking better.
I feel
than
like you should respect your partner's preferred name, no? Like,
No, I think it's actually a huge deal.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't mean politically. I just mean like on a personal level.
Totally out of our common sense.
Would never date anyone who decided unilaterally to change my name. They're like, oh, what? I asked them, what's your name anyway? Jank. Oh, really? It's not Sank? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna rename you Bob. No, you're
No one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
or Jake, right? Like Americanize your name. Like Jake is weird.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like your weird name. I'm gonna change it to Jake. Okay,
No, your name is
like,
Chunk.
well, I'm renaming you to Gone. No, but it's also another irony of Nimrata Randhawa saying about, I don't like your name. I'm gonna rename you. Okay, what's your real name?
She's all about the rebrand.
She
Okay,
is,
she
she
is.
is.
She's all about the rebrand. She should be like a corporate executive.
I actually think Nimrata is a really badass name. It's a really
I think
cool
it's a beautiful
name too.
name. Yeah.
And but she changed it to Nikki, and maybe she did it out of convenience, and a lot of people do, right? And maybe she did it for politics. I don't know, and I don't care. Okay, but it does become an issue when you're renaming other people. Right? And so, no, this shows to
Send
me.
in Jared.
And by the way, you can take it as a positive on a political level. It's up to you and how you interpret it. So she's in charge. There's no question about that, right?
I kind of like that.
Yeah, on a political level, you might like that, right? But for me, it's
My brother,
way
this is haram.
too controlling. Way too controlling. Not even close.
It's funny that you're taking that is you're right. That is controlling, but it's funny because I didn't see that side of it.
Probably because
way
you're the
response
problem in your
was-
relationship, Anna.
Respect people in how they want to be referred to, right?
Oh,
And so
bro,
I'll give
okay.
you-
Aren't you the guys and gals who are like anti-trans now all of a sudden? Like, wasn't this an arc that you just decided to go on, and now we're saying this about people's names? What did she? Oh, because she didn't want to be
doofus.
called a birthing person, right? That's what it was
Yes,
about?
that's what it was.
Okay.
personal
Bigoted
example, I guess.
You
So when I
dirty
met my
bitch!
husband, he introduced himself
I
as
have a cookie
Christian.
one.
I call him Babe, and he thinks it's weird when I ever say his name. But if I ever refer to
Okay.
him publicly, I'll say Christian because that's what he,
Okay.
that's how he introduced himself. At home, though, whenever we visit his family in Florida, all of his friends, all of his family members call him Chris.
Doofus.
And so,
really,
yeah. And so I asked him, like, what do you
Really?
prefer?
Come on.
At home, I say
Come on.
Christian whenever
This
I
is
need to,
awful.
and when I'm around his family, I refer to him as Chris.
Huh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, my mom calls me Django.
Interesting, yeah.
Does she really?
Hey, did you know YouTube demonetized us?
How does this have 100,000 views?
Make sure you go to our Patreon and subscribe for one bone because there's tons of extra content there, and
Other stuff coming eventually. We'll get there. It's coming. We're uploading regularly. Putting stuff on the Patreon regularly, and as we develop, we'll be able to offer more. But this is starting our support. So yeah. It's scrolling down the bottom.
YouTube
We really should have
Patreon.
links. We really should have links.
What?
Oh no,
There's a link in the YouTube description.
Is there?
Yeah,
and
you
I
can
think
just
all of our socials have our link tree, which have all our things in it. So
I
you
put
can
it
also
in
go
there.
to
It
that.
might not have updated though,
I think
because
it
you know
does.
how it is with StreamYard.
Yeah.
She does. We even did a segment
I
called
normally do
Django
it.
Unchained.
Oh, that's right.
I said I normally put it in there, but it didn't update for this, so I'm
Mhm.
gonna put it there now.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So look, nicknames are super fun. Like I call you Casper,
Nicknames are
sometimes
super fun.
AK-47, etc. But if I said you're no
What?
longer Anna, you're now Sally.
No.
He calls her
Yeah, I would
AK-47. That's actually kind of cool. It's just really funny that he calls Anna that of all people.
offended by that. But you know what I'm even more offended by? And this is something that a lot of people do, oftentimes accidentally. And even if I correct them, they forget. I hate being called Anna.
Oh, that's interesting.
I just don't like it. No offense to the Annas out there. You do you, boo. But I just like Anna. I don't know.
I know, but that's an honest mistake. They don't mean it, right?
Yeah.
And same thing with me. Like, if my name's spelled with a C but pronounced like a J, so it's Jank. But if people say Sank, that's Tuesday.
Chunk.
Everybody says
Chunk.
Sank, so it's not a big deal.
Chunk.
I also get Yank, Hank, like I don't know. I get everything.
Sank,
Wiger. Okay. And I don't mind at all.
And I know you guys are out there calling.
Like, but if you
It's all funny.
do know, and I'm dating you, you decide to rename me, I'm definitely gonna have issues with it.
Yeah. Don't fucking call me anything else.
By the way, we also wanted to ask you guys, because this is a very important story, and so we have a poll on it, right?
Okay.
So what does he look
Not
like?
the best
A
story.
Bill or a Michael? Okay, so tyt.com/polls.
Whoa.
And
Hard
so you
hitting.
get to see, but there he is. Does he look like a Bill? Or does he look like a Michael? Yeah, I think most people think Bill.
Yeah, he does look like a Bill. And by the way, obviously we know that Bill is a way of saying Michael, like a shortened way of saying.
Jesus Christ, I'm so over this. Fuck this. Have fun.
Just
Now I want to die.
That's just epic. That's what they reported on. So yeah, skip to the clip of her saying this shit. I don't care what. I just found this and I was like, oh, this is the I have the black friend bit.
Okay.
I want to ask you about something that's been a challenge for your
for this.
for the past week. And this, of course, is referring back to New Hampshire. You were asked to explain the cause of the Civil War. You obviously did not mention slavery. And afterwards, you came up, you said that was a mistake. In fact, you said it should have been the first thing that you said. So you did come out and say,
We have one of those. Do we still have that soundbite?
What?
No, we do. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, that it's a mistake. Yeah.
You famously said that the name Fredo was like the N-word for Italians.
Yes, that was a mistake.
that. Chris Christie, though, came out and
We've
said
got all the
that you
sound
gave
bites
that answer
exactly where they
not
need to
because
be.
you're, in his words, dumb or racist, but because you're, quote, unwilling to offend anyone by telling the truth. What do you say to that?
No one's ever said that I am unwilling to offend. I offend plenty of people because I call people out when they do something wrong. What I will tell you is Chris Christie is from New Jersey. I should have said slavery right off the bat. But if you grow up in South Carolina, literally in second and third grade, you learn about slavery.
And how it was good and that South Carolina lost because slavery lost.
It is a very talked about thing. We have a big history in South Carolina when it comes to, slavery.
So big, the Confederate flag. She literally just did it. I had black friends growing up, she says. Where'd they go? What about now? I used to have black friends. It's an interesting take on I have a black friend.
When it comes to all the things that happened with the Civil War, all of that, I was thinking past slavery and talking about the lesson that we would learn going forward. I shouldn't have done that. I should have said slavery, but in my mind, that's a given that everybody associates the Civil War with slavery.
First, I gotta say, this is
don't care.
What else I've got there for you?
Oh, we got more.
South Carolinians saw the Confederate flag as heritage and tradition. The other half of South Carolinians saw it as slavery and hate. My job wasn't to judge either side. My job was to get them to see the best of themselves and go forward. And South Carolina led the way, but that is the way we have to work on issues that try and divide us, is don't go and pick who's right and who's wrong and who's good and who's bad. That's what leaders are doing now, and it's caused us to be completely in political disarray.
Whoa.
A leader
who's
doesn't
right and who's wrong. She did dig herself in a deeper hole. She sure did here.
Yeah.
Decide who's right. When you serve the people, you serve everybody.
You can only serve everybody if you.
That I don't give a shit. And we're done.
Oh, there's the Ted Cruz stuff.
Yes, Ted Cruz.
There's a little one of Ted Cruz.
Why don't you talk to the president the way you talk to my brother, Ted? You afraid of him? You think he'll smack you down at home?
You famously said that the name Fredo was like the N-word for Italians.
Yes, that was a mistake.
Like he shut you up in the primary?
Cuomo's. You guys
Not
are
the
really
Cuomo's.
tough.
I'm talking about the president. My brother's not the president. I'm talking about the president, the one who called you a liar, the one who said your wife was ugly.
Ted Cruz has had many embarrassing moments.
On January 6th of 2021, you had tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting, and yet the corporate media and Democrats slander them with the made-up term insurrectionist.
What is going on? Lying to the American public.
Mr. Ted Cruz is a bitch compilation.
The ongoing disrespect of the flag and the national anthem.
Oh, here we go.
Shouldn't see sports teams telling half their fans to go jump in a lake.
He has put himself at the forefront of inserting sports into politics.
Hi, this is Ted Cruz calling. I was calling to encourage you to come out and vote on election day. This election is critical to the direction of our country, and I urge you to come out and support freedom.
And phone banking for a man who attacked Cruz's father, his family.
I found it.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Same energy.
And the man himself.
Count me a proud whack-a-mole.
When it comes to professional athletics,
That's awesome.
the energy is kept.
I'll say this. I do appreciate this energy from Americans. That Ted Cruz fucked over Texans and people in New York are angry at him for it. Love that energy. Love that.
Baseball is America's pastime.
You racist You, man! You suck! You're a disgrace!
I'm also not surprised that this is coming from New York. This is what I'd expect from New York.
Remember when Trump called your wife ugly? Remember that? Remember when Trump called your wife ugly and then you nominated him? You're this country. Remember when those insurrectionists wanted to murder you? Yo, go. Go vote Trump. Get out of New York. Trump called your wife ugly and you loved him.
This is great. This is so good.
It sounds like somebody's like jumping forward because they're cutting the
Bun B,
words.
Texas legend, one half of UGK, knew what was up. But why do so many sports fans despise Ted Cruz?
Excellent. Idly ho, neighbor. Oakley dokley, neighbor.
Because to say he's bad luck is like saying Texas is better with him as senator. Maybe we should have known his dabbling in sports would be catastrophic from his attempts at dribbling a basketball. Yet when Cruz was spotted,
we're talking about sports, so I see why this is on TYT Sports. You know, I'll justify it. It's valid.
More justified than the other one.
Texas Longhorns college football playoff semifinal against the Washington Huskies. Many UT supporters knew the end result before the final whistle. Reddit College Football kept track of Cruz's in-attendance jinx, funded by the taxpayers. If one were to gamble the money line against the squad Cruz roots for, they'd be 15-2 since 2017 when the senator shows up. This is Clay Travis levels tripping over oneself. We need to call a special session to ban Ted Cruz from appearing at any Texas sporting event in the future, one fan bemoaned on Twitter. Last October, Newsweek noted that when Cruz showed up to every Houston Astros playoff game, they lost, with one final scoreline being 11-4. According to Fan Nation, Cruz attended every at-home game that the Astros lost this year. 5 in total. In 2019, the Texas Tech Red Raiders were the national champion.
I'm over this. Boring. Next one.
So Ron DeSantis has really hit a wall in the Republican primary.
Bro.
I mean, it depends on what poll you look at.
I just found. Look at this debate I just found. Look who it is. Look who's versus who. You might not know one of them, but you should know the other guy. Come on, bro. Can't be doing that.
Alan Dershowitz is a
You know who that
CNN
is?
guy, isn't he?
No, that's Epstein's lawyer. He was like in all the Epstein docs.
Why?
Huh?
Why is this a thing? What? I don't know if I care enough.
Dude, Dershowitz is like a tremendous piece of shit. It's crazy.
God, I think he's around 12% or thereabouts. And remember, there was a time when he was at like 20%, maybe even 30%. So if anything, he lost ground, and then he stagnated and stayed exactly where he was, right? And there's been a lot of talk about Nikki. Oh my God, Nikki Haley surging, bro. She's surging, bro. You go look at the poll. She's at like 10%. So DeSantis is still ahead by 2. Nikki Haley surged to 10. I find all this so funny and weird and obnoxious because, of course, the media talks about these two, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, like they're serious. But Marianne Williamson, a poll just came out. She's at 14%, and she's not even allowed on TV. They don't talk about her.
Still talking about it.
She's viewed as like a joke within mainstream circles. And that's infuriating, right? You have a sitting president, somebody challenging a sitting president. She's all the way at 14%. Nobody talks about her at all. Here you have these two goofballs at 12% and 10%, less than Marianne, and the media acts like they're serious, right? So clearly
Marianne
Ron
Williamson
DeSantis and his team
totally
internally
serious.
have realized whatever our strategy was, it didn't work.
Not selling a book.
And if you actually want to go for the nomination this time, you're going to have to hit the guy who's at 51% in the poll, who's destroying all of you. And so there was some sort of a strategic change here, and Ron DeSantis started to go more aggressively at Trump. Now, look, I think he's in between a rock and a hard place. I don't know if there's anything he could do to get him to win that nomination, unless, of course, Trump ends up literally behind bars and staying there, in which case then maybe he could win it, right?
He doesn't need to be behind bars. He just needs to be eliminated from at least 10 polls or 10 states. That's it. If he's gone from 10, it's done. He's done for. He can't win. One big state, he's fucked.
But look at this. So I'm going to play this video for you. Trump claimed that him debating Hillary after saying grab him by the pussy was braver than soldiers fighting in war. Oh, it's amazing. Trump is so Trump. Oh, my God. All right, so let's watch this.
But I went onto that stage just a few days later, and a general who's a fantastic general actually said to me, sir, I've been on the battlefield. Men have gone down on my left and on my right. I stood on hills where soldiers were killed. But I believe the bravest thing I've ever seen was the night you went onto that stage with Hillary Clinton after what happened. And then that woman asked you the first question about it. And I said, locker room talk. It's locker room talk. What the hell? What are you talking? Locker room talk.
That's so Trump. First of all, you can take this to the bank. Anytime he starts a story where he's like, and then they came up to me and they said, sir, why is your cock so big, sir? Sir?
What the fuck?
12 inches? Is that
what the
is that
fuck?
a foot long, sir?
Yeah.
Anytime he does the sir thing, 100% the story's made up. But this
I
is
agree with
classic
him,
Trump,
but that's
just sucking
strange.
himself off. But the general said, he said, I've never seen anybody braver than you, sir. I've never seen anybody braver
to just
you
not
went,
be
you said that thing
watchable.
to Hillary Clinton.
Oh my God, everything's going wrong.
Like, there's zero chance that shit is going to be watchable.
Yeah.
People are going to tune in for like a nightmare and then sit through it just because of the name recognition.
Wait, Alex Jones is debating Destiny.
Yeah, they're doing it. Well, no, it's a multi-person debate. Glenn Greenwald's there too.
Okay. That seems like it'll be shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, sir! I think I can. I think
But
I can.
I guess
That's
if
what he
people
said.
want us to watch it, we'll have to.
I mean, I don't think it will be watchable, honestly.
No, I don't. I think it'll be pretty shit. But I mean, we could give it a shot and skim through it, see what happens. I'm interested.
To me, he said, "My pants are full of splooge."
What the
This
fuck?
So DeSantis sees this. Now,
So
look,
weird.
what's my reaction
What
to
is
this? It's
going
just
on,
funny.
Kyle?
Like, it's classic Trump. It's just funny. Total brazen lie.
Weird
But
man.
he's charismatic. He goes up there. He does a little Trump thing. So DeSantis comes in off the top rope. Trump denigrates military service by claiming it is braver that he debated Hillary Clinton than what soldiers endure on the battlefield. Debating isn't brave. It's the bare minimum any candidate should do. Hiding from
Is this really what we're doing here? Is we're doing Twitter reporting? I vote to veto this.
Go ahead. That's scorched earth as a tweet.
Yep. Scorched earth. Don't care.
Calling from a 202 area code. Who's
this
week?
Gonna trigger the fuck out of you, and it's gonna be funny.
You calling from?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mark, and I'm calling from Arizona.
Mark from Arizona. What's on your mind, Mark?
Yes. So I've actually been listening to your guys' show for a while, and one of my buddies got me to you.
Do you think the show is like Diet TYT?
Who?
Do you think this show is Diet TYT?
Diet in what way?
Just, I mean, they're smaller. Yeah.
I mean, sure, if we're talking just size-wise.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I mean, I don't think the Young Turks was ever good. That's the
sometimes.
Thing.
It doesn't give you the same rush TYT does sometimes. You know, it's rare when these two are being idiots.
Yeah. These guys are much more entertaining to watch.
We have vehement disagreements on one particular thing, and pretty much what I vote on, and that would be guns.
Okay.
So with that said, I do not think we should ban AR-15s or any assault rifle for that matter.
Okay. Why would that be?
Well, I mean, because I just don't think statistics show that that's necessarily that big of a deal, even though it is like.
What do you mean by statistics?
Well, so for instance, I think Johns Hopkins University did a study about mass shootings and the type of firearms that are used in it.
Yeah.
And it said that the AR-15 style platform wasn't really the basis for,
most mass shootings
being used. Yeah.
So all right. So how many, let's put it this way. How many kids being shot in a school, and then let's just add people shot, let's say in a mall or like at a concert. Sure. How many of those is worth it for you to have the right to have a semi-automatic?
Instantly into the emotional arguments. Just not even a second delay, just straight into it. Just invalidating the argument, the study with, but the kids. Shut the fuck up.
Automatic weapon.
Well, I really don't like that line of argument because
it makes what you're saying sound like it's psychotic.
No. Well, no. Well, so if we're gonna go based off of that, so if you're principled on that, wouldn't you say the same thing for alcohol that kills 5,000 adolescents every year?
I would say.
Why is it always the same tired arguments? See, if I was this guy and I called in and the first thing he did was emotion, like how many kids, I would stop him. I would be like, stop. How many kids? Stop. We're not talking about that. I mentioned statistics. Come back at me with statistics that back up your argument.
Well, a kid died once. That's my stat.
Right, and then I go into the fact that Gun Violence Archive is an illegitimate source of gun violence statistics because they don't use state statistics. So not only do they use the
wrong but guns bad
to inflate the numbers to make
guns
shootings.
Bad though, Jack. Guns kill people.
It doesn't matter. Everything kills people. Literally everything.
Well, I'm fine with banning everything. I'm Sam Cedar.
Are we going to bubble wrap everything?
That's fine with me. I'm Sam Cedar.
But I would be very interested to see what he said if someone comes back and just says, this isn't the argument. I feel like if I was stubborn enough, he'd probably just send me on my way. because I wouldn't continue the conversation because he refuses to argue in a level-headed, rational way.
Sam literally lives in a place where there's no AR mass shootings.
Where's this?
Brooklyn.
Not America? Brooklyn.
Yeah, there's no ARs in fucking Brooklyn, bro.
True. You can easily get them in.
But the point is like he can literally, like, if he actually cared, he could use his environment around him to point to actual policies that have worked to reduce.
Which is what other policies that have worked in Brooklyn?
Well, just basically, it goes to into a lot of the localized government. You just can't buy that type of gun.
Okay.
In like you can just drive them right in.
Yeah.
But like these types of like shootings just don't happen in the city.
I'm curious why, because obviously the gun itself is
because
not catalyst,
because
right?
there's been a
It has to
legacy
be
of arresting all the black people.
What do you mean?
70s,
That
that's
wouldn't
how they
stop it.
cleaned up the city. They
But that-
arrested all the Italians. You know, it went just.
Well, I
as
guess
big as
most
you
of
go
the
to
mass
try and fix
shootings, most of the shootings in New York would have been mob related, mass shootings at least.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Rarely.
there's still those types of shootings going on in New York City, but it's not like AR casualty events.
They're pistols.
Not even that. There's no like there's no like people going out to do like acts of terror against society.
Okay, you're talking about that type of mass
Yeah,
shooting.
there's the only
not,
one
not a
that's like
criminal one
recently
like
was that guy on the subway who was caught by a Syrian immigrant.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So
I just it's just fuck. I don't know.
Say that banning alcohol was
It's also a really bad idea. Like the alcohol line of argument is so fucking stupid because
what about SUVs? What about cars? Cars kill people.
yeah, I mean cars are a better argument because it's more along the line of guns where it's like it's a tool. If you're using it incorrectly, people get hurt. Right? At the end of the day, a gun that's unloaded is a hunk of forged metal at the end of the day and plastic. It's nothing more than a hammer without a bullet in it. So the physical existence of these guns is not why mass shootings happen. So I'm curious why these types of shootings don't happen in Brooklyn. If we're using that as an example, that is an interesting microcosm that I'm very interested to know why.
Yeah, so like that's the thing that I've always brought up is like normally places where these types of assault weapon shootings happen have already had one before.
Yes. Colorado,
So-
California, Texas,
It's Florida.
Yeah.
You know, like
Interesting.
New York had one in Buffalo that was bad.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, true, because they don't really happen in like the Midwest states, not really. It's
Mhm.
all coastal cities, it's big cities, it's high population density where people get
And then,
forgotten and
like
shit.
there's just this school shooting in Iowa, but it wasn't an AR. It was a
Yeah.
shotgun and pistol,
Mhm.
which is probably just what the kid had access to at home.
Yeah, well, he was 17. He wouldn't have been able to go and buy anything.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it makes sense why he had those things in Iowa.
Yeah.
was attempted in this country and it failed.
Yes, it was.
And that alcohol is used by a lot more people and is far less lethal than weapons.
I mean, it kills 5,000 people or kills 5,000 adolescents every year.
But did you know that alcohol is regulated and certain alcohol cannot be sold?
Whoa, Anna, did you
Oh,
know?
guns.
Did you know that guns have regulations?
There are thousands of gun laws.
See,
in
that's the
America.
thing. It's like Sam thinks that he's debating somebody who says any gun control is bad at this point. So, like, as long as this guy is like, yeah, well, regulations are fine.
Yeah, and if he doesn't do that, he's fucked. Because at the end of the day, you do need some kind of, even if it's not top-down state regulation, it needs to be some kind of agreed-upon code between people. Obviously,
Even the
not
most
everybody.
criminal areas, they're going to have like regulations on who has firearms. You know?
Yeah. So it's like it's an interesting topic to tread, but it's not unsolvable. Like it just requires effort, and that's what people aren't willing to put in. That's the problem.
But it's not banned, and that's the argument that I'm trying to get
But
across.
certain alcohols are like certain guns, which we should be allowed to ban.
If
It's
gun,
it just shits me up the fucking wall that all they talk about is banning the AR. So I can go out and buy an AK. No different. That's illegal. But the AR-15, just ban that. Ban them all. Get rid of them. That's specific.
Well, I think one of the
because
Clinton assault
looking
bans, they were
guns
banning
matter,
specific
right?
guns. You know.
Like it's so fucking stupid.
Do you know
like,
about the
oh,
ghetto
okay.
blaster?
Yeah.
Wasn't that like made just to get banned or something?
Something like that. It's like the Liberator, the 3D printed one-shot gun.
Well, the ghetto blaster was it's like a legit, like I think it's like one of those blackout rifles that shoot the blackout rounds.
300 blackout.
Yeah. But it's like a compact gun, like a personal defense weapon.
Yeah.
It's very small, like. Yeah, 300 blackout pistol. There's an AR pistol with 300 blackout.
That's pretty cool.
But like the original term of it was like Honey Badger versus Ghetto Blaster on Reddit. Like I know there was some type of controversy around it, like them calling it the Ghetto Blaster.
Yeah.
Implying I think they were trying to imply that it was for criminals or something, because this is when you used to carry the actual boombox, you know?
Yeah, I assumed that that's what it was a reference to.
are to alcohol, then AR-15s are to some illegal alcohol that has been deemed too dangerous to sell on the open market.
Like such as, I mean.
I don't.
I don't.
Certain levels of moonshine that have too high of a concentration of alcohol that is not going to be allowed at your local.
Crazy, would you believe it? But like we banned
barrel lengths. Barrel lengths. Oh yeah, SBRs.
Right? Isn't that crazy? So we also ban guns to the same degree that we ban alcohol. Anna.
Yeah. I mean, there are thousands of gun laws on the American guns, like the gun market. There are thousands, and you're telling me it's not regulated? Of course, it's fucking regulated. You can't buy new machine guns. What the fuck are you talking about, you clowns? How does an Australian know more about American gun laws than most Americans? This is what I don't understand. Like, if this is such a hot topic, wouldn't you fucking learn? Or is the feigned ignorance? Or not even feigned, it's willing ignorance.
Well, I think what it comes down to is that Sam just thinks he's better than these people because he like cares about children's lives. And it comes down to the same type of psychology that these people who are like who talk about how, bro, you know that like genocide denial post about the Amhara, right? In the comments of that post that went, it was like 8 genocides in the world right now. And one of them said that the Bryans were committing a genocide against the Amharas. And then the silent genocide in Congo. Like in the comments, the first comment is like, "You forgot on number 9, the unborn in the United States." And the original post was like, "So true." Like, no, because even if that was considered a life, guess what? It's not being done by like a top-down level, specifically singling out a certain ethnic group to eradicate. Like you it's not like babies are not a fucking ethnic group. They're not a protected minority.
I mean,
you know,
if you ask certain people, they'll tell you that Planned Parenthood was set up by the state to target specifically black children. But
that's Kanye.
Well, it's a lot of people actually.
You know,
I've heard it a lot. But it's a very strange one.
Yeah, but
not out of the range of possibility either. Like the shit that America's done to black people, it would not surprise me if that came out as true.
You know this.
Okay, well, I mean, I just want to
engage with my point.
Well, I mean,
The fucking irony.
Moonshine, and people make it illegally anyways, and that's kind of like the whole right-wing point of the guns is like, hey, if you ban it, they're going to get it anyways.
How many people do you know? How many people do you know that make moonshine?
3.
I mean, me personally, none.
Well,
to say that it's not out there is just kind of dishonest.
For the most part, most people do not make moonshine. Yes, I would say.
Have you been anywhere in Appalachia?
Like I've just toured, like I've done sales tours and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so like you'll do like expos and conventions,
and
there's always like a moonshine guy there.
Yeah. It's not surprising. These people were just sheltered.
Say that that moonshine is a lot less. Moonshine was made during Prohibition because people were unable to access
alcohol is less.
And guess what's happening
regulated
now?
than guns, Anna. What are you talking about?
Guess what's happening now? People are making guns. People are making machine guns. Functional 3D printed machine
that's
guns.
what they're saying. But it's still just a stupid point because it's already like way out there. Because it's already stupid because guns are regulated more than alcohol.
Yeah,
and the caller is too dumb to realize that too.
Yeah,
it's a whole different situation. But
can I just read this?
No.
These are like, you say a lot of like these. You did a study that shows like a lot of these shootings aren't related.
Huh?
Guns are taxed harder than alcohol too.
Yeah, they sure are. Every suppressor has $1,000 tax stamp on it.
To the AR-15, and I know we have a lot of gun violence in this country.
I think they're $1,000. There's something like that. I think.
Country that is like handguns and
Bro,
stuff like that.
This is going to be like back in the day when they're going to talk about how many crimes are committed with a Tech 9. Like, bro, because it's an easy to get gun and it looks cool as fuck and it's in and it's trendy.
$200.
You know? What?
NFA tax stamps are $200. Still, suppressors I don't think are that expensive. $200 on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
School, 17 people dead. That's 2018. Las Vegas shooter, 58 people. 58 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sutherland Spring.
Why are you bringing up
9/11?
Like, why are you bringing up the most extreme example of a mass shooting when that's an anomaly among mass shootings? Anything over 5 really is an anomaly.
Well, it was possible, so that's bad. Somebody else could go do it because they have access to assault gun.
Anybody could do anything.
Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah.
How many people died in that?
I'm not sure. You'll have to look that one up.
Would have been possible if we were, say, limiting the capacity of magazines.
Well, so
oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The magazines would have mattered when he had 15 fucking rifles. You clown.
Yeah. He literally.
He
literally could have just. Like he didn't use even like a percent of what, like he not even like 5% of what he brought with him. He only ended up using 2 of the like 100 guns that he brought in. Okay, 168 people died in the Oklahoma City bombing. Why are we not banning fertilizer?
In my argument, I'm not saying limiting or like putting more regulation. I am saying banning.
Okay. What is the value of society? Because really it comes down to, we make a decision, right? As a society.
I mean,
wait, hold on. Let me finish this. Hold on.
Okay, sorry.
Well, you can get to the freedom thing in a second. But but we make a decision in this country, right?
Okay.
Approximately 5,000 underage drinkers, for whom it's illegal, let's say, to have drinks, to consume alcohol.
Pretty sure murder is illegal, Sam,
because they get a hold of it, right? I mean, this is a problem with
not how you
everything,
do
frankly.
it.
But I mean, let's just stick
pretty sure it's
with alcohol.
illegal. I'm pretty sure conspiring to murder someone is illegal. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't matter what is used.
Yeah, like you can go like if a
murder
kid
is illegal.
dies from like alcohol and you gave it to him, like you can get like basically like 3rd degree sometimes.
Yeah. It's like felony murder.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that. You know, these things exist for a reason. You know, they're illegal. You know, it doesn't stop people.
Yeah,
people who already do
it's literally
crimes,
how like it's literally illegal to drink underage, and everyone has done it. Like, why are we even comparing moonshine to guns?
like
Something that's
what the
more
fuck is even
regulated
happening?
than it.
Like, this is insane. Like, you're
They literally
trying-
think there's less regulation on alcohol than guns.
It's this is the problem when you poison your brain with liberal bullshit like mums demand action and David Hogg or whatever the fuck that clown's name is.
Bro, he's
Poisoning
in a
your
gun
brain
club.
with
David
Huh?
Hogg is in a gun club. Yes, I literally could find a picture of him with a gun, bro.
No, I know. He's been doing it recently because people are like, go fucking actually shoot guns, you'll like it, and he likes it.
But he still
It's
wants
fucking
to ban
hilarious.
AR.
Yeah, I know, because he's a fucking tool.
Well, because then
Um,
he couldn't admit that he was wrong, you know?
Yeah. He's like, all right, I kind of get it. Shit's cool. But like, all these people, every single anti-gun Democrat, liberal fucking person, right? Just this typical lib bullshit. All of them are wrong. Every single one. I've never spoken to a single liberal aligned person who has been correct on firearms. Not one. So I'm from now on, any discussion I have with someone about guns, I'm going to ask them where they sit on politics and what they would align themselves with. If they say liberal, I block them. Because you're not worth having the discussion with. Because one, you're wrong. Two, you don't listen to people who are right, me. And three, stop. Just don't. Just leave the discussion to people who clearly understand it. You don't. And you listening to other people who don't understand it on Facebook, also not a good idea. Hi, do you want to know how to fix this? Stop. Exactly me.
The question is, at that point, is just broadly speaking, society makes a choice.
And I'm pretty sure Mums Demand Action started on Facebook. It's literally a Facebook mum group. Disregard them.
Right? I mean, society makes a choice in terms of alcohol. If there was
They do
not
on
enough
guns, too.
people
That's why there's regulations.
Exactly.
who wanted access to alcohol in this country, then they would see that cost associated with underage drinking to be sufficient enough to attempt to ban it. Right? I
Okay,
mean,
yeah.
we know that.
No, absolutely.
We saw it during Prohibition. That's basically what it came down to. It wasn't.
Is that why they banned it? Why did they
They
start
banned it
Prohibition?
because a fascist Christian lady went in and beat barkeepers to death with hammers.
Yeah. Okay, so it had nothing to do with what he just said, and he's full
Yeah.
of shit. Yet again.
Necessarily they were concerned
But
about
they raised it to
underage
21
drinking.
to supposedly cut down underage drinking, you know?
Yeah, that worked.
Although I imagine that was part of it, but it was broadly speaking, they were just concerned about people getting drunk. They didn't want people to get drunk. They didn't want people to drink. Then society reacted to it. There is no way.
Look, man, no. Just no. Society didn't act. This was the government enacting tyrannical rules upon the citizens
Also, like,
of the
FDR
country.
drank all the time, and that's the main reason why he lifted Prohibition. Like, he would drink with other world leaders. It was like ruining diplomacy in America because they couldn't like get world leaders drunk and stuff.
That's hilarious.
Right?
That's so funny.
So the president was breaking the law that whole time during Prohibition because they were drinking.
And of course he didn't get arrested because why would he? He's the president. He gets a special pass.
That whole era.
Great. Fantastic. You know, really, really great example to use here, guys.
Also,
Terrific.
like, it literally started like organized crime in America.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was the 20s, right? Which led into the 30s, which was like peak like the bank robbers and shit. Like that was peak that time. So, yeah, bad choice.
You can tell me society doesn't want to ban, at least in terms of like to the extent that we can measure it, in terms of the people in this country, doesn't want to ban this one product.
If you explain to people instead of misleading them and lying to them, most people would probably see the benefit of firearms, and people's opinions would probably change to the point that they would probably try and actually find the fucking solution to the problem instead of just banning guns, which doesn't solve shit. Yeah, we saw it in Australia. It didn't do shit. New Zealand won't do shit either because New Zealand's gun deaths they've been flat forever. Like their last mass shooting was after Australia, actually. It was more recent than Australia's, and they didn't ban it then. So, yeah, it I don't know. It's so frustrating. Like people just, you can't have this discussion with people because they act like him.
Just like how you can't have an abortion conversation with people.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same
because they
thing.
immediately are like, it's actually a human life.
Yeah, it's just it completely derails immediately, and this discussion derailed immediately as soon as he spoke. Derailed, and then they started talking about fucking alcohol. We're talking about AR-15s here. Why should we ban a single fucking rifle? A single type of rifle because it looks scary. Oh my god! Fuck off.
Versus how much value they see in it.
Mass shootings.
But even if it's not an AR, it's a semi-automatic rifle. It's the same fucking thing.
Well, their issue is that their issue is that mass shootings are using it more, so banning it reduces mass shootings.
Yeah, the typical solution that does nothing, as per usual.
Well, it's just like
back to my liberal
cannabinoids, right? They would always ban like a certain kind. They do it with the vapes now, right? So like they'll always ban like some type of disposable vape, and a new one will instantly hit the market because it's like a new fucking type of thing.
Yeah, because they're banning specific types, which that's actually a better argument than alcohol here. Right? That is actually a great argument against what they're saying. Because like there'll just be another one and another one and another one.
Like, why did we ban mango blunts, man?
That's the case.
You know the meme,
So
like,
if you
sure,
don't
Grandma,
accept-
let's get you to bed. You know, I've made one where it's like, in my day, we used to smoke mango blunts.
That if you don't accept that there's a difference between kids who make a bad decision and drink alcohol and end up killing themselves because that product exists in the world versus kids who die because by no decision of their own, they just went to school. And if you
Do you think
deny
kids kill themselves on alcohol more than they kill themselves with firearms?
No. Also, Sam, why? Why are the mass shootings happening? Not how, not with. How? Why? Why? Why are they happening? Ask the fucking question. It's not that hard. It's not guns. Fuck me.
terror aspect of it, right? Because my kids don't have to go to school and
I really believe that this is one of the subjects that we're going to make headway on. Like we will, I'm 100% serious here. We will do something with this. Like there's something will happen. I don't know what.
We'll see. We'll get you on like a Dylan Burns debate about guns.
Maybe. I'll have to refine everything down a little bit more. Debates, I fucking hate debates. Hate it. But me being Australian is also a great counter because everybody goes straight for Australia. I'm like, do it. Fucking do it. I'll whip out all the ABS statistics. I'll come print it out and everything. Highlighted everything. Won't stand a chance.
go through a traumatizing lockdown because of alcohol. So the cost is not just
They do it because of fentanyl
of kids. It's also what it does.
They go through the lock. They find fentanyl. They find a fentanyl vape pen and they lock down the whole school. And then kids end up going to the hospital from panic attacks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with the mass shooting drills as well. It just ups the anxiety of the kids. So it's that's something that nobody talks about either. Is that all these drills and shit for something
I
that's
mean, like we
really
didn't do it during
not.
the Cold War with the bombs.
Oh, of course,
Hiding under
that
the
that
desk
did the
and
same
shit.
thing. It's the same thing, right? It's exactly the same process, and it's creating the same anxiety and fear. It's just one was towards communists. This time it's towards guns because guns were cool back then.
They killed communists.
To society. And if you don't look at what it does in terms of like what it causes our police officers to buff up and get into SWAT gear, in the way
Bullshit.
that they do, and the look of all those
Bullshit.
Uvalde police.
That is called an excuse from authority. That is all that is. They use one thing
Yeah, they
to
buy
justify.
mine-resistant vehicles because people have AR-15. Sam, you're right.
Yeah, 100%. That's why. Yeah, it's not the fact that there's a military-industrial complex farming the police force's money to sell them military equipment to militarize the police and thus making them even further from the people. This is totally because of that. You nail it.
Was a function of the potential threat of somebody coming in with that type of weapon. But you look at all those costs associated with it, and you ignore those costs, and you just look at what people want. And granted, our political system is not adept at necessarily addressing those concerns. But I mean, if we're just talking about...
Again, it doesn't matter what people want because there's so much propaganda flowing through this topic that this subject cannot be left to people.
Propaganda or misinformation?
Well, misinformation, disinformation, propaganda. It's all in there from both sides. Every side, really. It comes from everywhere, and then you have people.
Yeah,
like
I
me
think
and,
I think the Republican anti-gun control is tyranny type shit is way more cringe than this, though.
Yeah,
because they legit are like talking about it from like a psychopath's perspective.
Of course, right? And these people aren't talking to people who live in reality, right? But then there's people like me.
You need your gun to
like
rebel
you.
against the government.
Yeah, right. Like a better way to all these guys, right? Everybody working to find an actual solution instead of just being like, ban the guns. The guns are the problem. Ban them all. There are more guns in Australia now than ever before. Where are the shootings? If guns equaled violence, where are the shootings? It's
the potential for violence. That's why we need to ban the AR because it could.
Why not punish thought crime then?
Okay.
Oh, but you were gonna think about crime.
You were gonna think about killing those babies with a high capacity rifle.
Same fucking thing. So I don't fucking know.
Broadly speaking, why we should ban it. That's why I think we should ban them.
Well, so I want to counter a couple of those things because I think the main reason, and honestly, if you go look at, polls after like say 2 months after a mass shooting with an AR-15 style rifle, it usually gets back to like 50-50. So it's actually a literal.
What are we talking about now?
At that point,
polls on other people's opinions on whether it should be banned or not is like irrelevant because you just need to be talking about accurate information.
Well, that's what Sam's bringing up though. So he's countering with other polled information. So Sam's like the majority of people polled said that they would prefer to ban guns or have background checks.
The majority of
they don't
people
know
prefer
anything.
gun control, which is true. Only the far right psychopaths are like no regulations on guns.
Yeah. So it's like, it makes sense to counter what he said with this, but yeah, it's kind of irrelevant because it's irrelevant what people think, especially after. That sounded bad. It's irrelevant what people think polled before. Just after and 2 months after, because obviously the impact of a mass shooting with an AR-15 is going to change people's minds, and then people are going to forget and go back to normal and remember that, oh, I don't actually give a shit about the news. I'm just angry because it's the news cycle and this is what I've been programmed to do. Like, of course, people are going to do that. People have more things to worry about. They've got bills to worry about. They've got life to worry about. Of course, they're not going to care. Right? And this is why
What about the JR-15? The
It's a 22.
the 2-pound gun.
Do you know how happy I would have been to have like a mini 22 AR-15? That would have been sick. That would have been great. And this is the other thing. Guns aren't scary. You just got to teach your kids to respect them. That's all.
Just like how you got to respect fireworks. They're explosives.
Exactly. You know, and then you have the people who don't respect explosives and they shoot tannerite and almost die because pieces of metal fly at their head. You know,
Like
very
FPS
smart. These are the
Russia.
people who weren't taught about gun safety and
But
weren't taught
FPS
to
Russia
respect.
was taught about gun safety. He just wanted to make a cool video.
But like this is the thing is most people, if taught correctly, are never going to misuse a firearm. And that would solve a lot of the problems.
Technically,
And
killing
then,
the children isn't misusing it. That's kind of what they are designed for.
but it is illegal use of a firearm, right?
It's homicide.
Whether the like it's the action behind the user, not the gun itself. Right? Again, back to the whole, and it's cringe, but it is at the end of the day a tool.
I think that if people want to ban AR-15s in their district, more power to them. Whatever. I don't care. You know, because they're not going to be banned in certain places, and we can make it the whole abortion thing again, where some people have it, and some people don't. I mean, it already is the way that gun laws work.
Yeah, I mean, California's ARs are
except like abortion is a much bigger deal.
Oh, way bigger deal. Like this is peanuts compared to that. That is a human rights issue. The guns can take a backseat to that. But
yeah, most countries do not allow. Well, actually, most countries do have open carry, but it's because most countries are like have militias and stuff that control it.
Yeah, true.
Being said, the main reason why I think it gets such high poll ratings is because the AR-15 mass shooting is front and center.
First thing the Taliban did was take people's guns.
Of course they did. Can't have them challenging them.
Like before that, literally everyone carried a gun in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I think, like, for instance,
why do you think it's front and center?
Well, I mean, because they happen, of course.
No. No, alcohol deaths with adolescents happen too.
You know, like they're so.
Why it happens? What? Why? He's asking why. You know what my answer to why that they're front and center would be? Because if it bleeds, it leads. It sells newspapers, baby. Cold, hard cash.
It's just like you never hear about serial killers anymore. When's the last time there was like a named serial killer? You know, the Night Stalker
they're still around.
News. It was hot news. People were terrified, so they tuned in.
Exactly. And mass shootings is just the new serial killer. That's all it is. It's just the next news media fad. And then once this problem dissolves or lessens or becomes
before that, it was Muslim terror.
Yeah, exactly. It'll change. It'll change to something else, and the new thing will become
mass shootings happen a lot.
They do.
The mimetic stuff with like the AR-15 that Sam is upset
and that's the stuff that can be solved. Like the crimes against society, the downtrodden loser who goes out and shoots up something. That's always going to be a problem. That you can't fix that, but you can fix the mimetic stuff. You can fix the gang shooting, the mass shootings, like criminal mass shootings. You can fix these problems, but you're never going to be able to 100% guarantee that people aren't going to die from firearms. You can't. As long as the guns are legal, you can't guarantee.
Oh, ban all guns.
So yeah, at the end of the day, the solution is you ban them all, or you find a solution and stay with the current system. at the end of the day, banning them all is the easier option. So they will go with the easier option unless they're forced to take the harder path. It's the problem is, how do you force them to take the harder path?
But if we ban all guns, less babies die now.
Yeah, and then they start getting blown up.
Uh-huh. How do you know?
Cycles, trends, statistics.
But why do you think?
Are you telling me
but
that?
that's what I'm getting to. I
is
feel like if mainstream
attacking my
media,
children and their Halloween candy?
Oh, the rainbow fentanyl.
Yeah. Are you telling me
that's why
it's not coming to get me?
No, of course, but that's why you've got to drone strike Mexico.
It would be constitutional for the government to target and kill any U.S. citizen with a drone or with a shotgun without due process.
It's got so well thinking about.
was posting every single night that an adolescent dies from alcohol.
Why do you think they don't?
I would say
why do you think they don't?
That's his. I don't agree with this, so I'm about to bring in a logical fallacy to disrupt your question.
Don't do that.
Well, I have no idea, actually.
Really?
Really?
Do you have kids?
Well, I do not.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't think that you would need to have kids to
I have an
understand
authority because I
the
spawn
horror.
cretins.
I was going to say something, but I stopped myself.
That people feel that they can't send their kids to schools without the sense that there is nothing they can do whatsoever to protect them from a mass shooting. Or
I didn't realize that mass shootings were a looming daily, hourly threat. Interesting. I thought that they happened sporadically and randomly across the country throughout the year.
Even when I was in school, I thought about what would I do if those things happened. Bro,
I thought those things in Australia. Like, this is not uncommon. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that goes through every kid's head. It's like, oh, what would happen in X situation?
Like, well, like Red Dawn, what happens when the Soviets come down while my kids are at school?
We had one of those. We had one of those movies. It's called Tomorrow When the War Began. It's great. It's so good. The Chinese, I think it's the Chinese, might be the North Koreans, one of the two. Like, night drop in, and this group of kids is like in the bush, and they come back and their town's taken over, and they turn into this militia group. It's great. It's excellent. It's a great movie, but it's based in the Australian bush. Lol. Pretty much. Reply to that, Sam.
that you can't go to a concert, let's say in Vegas, without there's nothing.
So because one thing happened once, we shouldn't do it ever again. Cool. Okay. Well, I guess. Actually, that being said, most people are against nuclear power because of 3 man-made accidents in nuclear power plants. So this makes sense. This tracks with the liberal mindset. I am no longer confused. This makes sense.
Well, also, especially being anti-nuclear, it gets you more dependent on Russian gas, and that's why the left really likes to push it.
We can do
I cannot describe how pro-nuclear I am. I think that every country should have a nuclear reactor. Like, it's so stupid that we don't use these phenomenal elements that we have on Earth to give us clean energy, for fuck's sake. A lot of it. It doesn't make any sense. But we do need to try and get that nuclear scientist to come on.
Oh, I'd love to talk to a nuclear scientist.
Hmm?
I said I'd love to talk to a nuclear scientist.
Absolutely would love to. And someone who's like pro-nuclear, like wants to.
Oh, they all are.
Is this how nuclear is like, not allowed to have nuclear anything near our waters? You're not allowed to have this. Australia, you're getting nuclear stuff. You're not allowed in our waters anymore. Is that what you're talking about?
Our country is powered by trees. You ever seen the movie Avatar? That was shot in New Zealand.
Our economy is sheep and grassland.
What else is in New Zealand? Sheep,
milk.
You have sheep.
All I know from the memes is the fact that Kiwis call shit weird names, like they call like Australians call flip flops thongs, but New Zealanders call them jandals. So you think we're fucking weird?
What the fuck?
And you think Australians are weird? I guess you guys call them coolers. I think the icebox, whatever you want to call them. You know, the portable. We call them eskies. So they're just portable coolers.
Cooler is probably the most common, but if somebody said an icebox, they would know what you were talking about.
Okay. So yeah, a cooler, we call it an esky.
Sometimes like icebox is more of like the styrofoam thing. That's like the igloo styrofoam thing. But
and
also,
I think
New Zealanders also ice chest. There's ice chest,
Yeah.
and people know what you're talking about.
And I think New Zealanders call them chili bins. A chili bun. It's a chili bun. We'll have to get Tanya on and we'll talk shit. I'll talk shit to her all day. A chili bun. See, he knows what I'm talking about.
I can tell my kids.
Tanya will come
at
on
least
if
I
people
have a
bring us
shot.
or give us money.
I tell my kids.
She's she'll be back.
So if people want to see Tanya come on,
yeah, we've got a secret weapon.
It's be careful about alcohol, right? I mean, at least, it may not be rational, it may not make a difference, but at least I feel as a human being some comfort in that maybe my kids have listened to me and this and that, but there is absolutely nothing I can do. I mean, it's like, look,
Sam,
let's be honest.
you
it's
live
why
in Brooklyn.
crime is more of a political issue than, let's say.
Hang on, my whole thing shut down for a second. My whole screen went like. Honestly, he has more to worry about with rainbow fentanyl than AR-15s at school.
Car deaths. Okay, because at least we feel like we have some measure of control over car deaths. But we can't necessarily have control over crime because that's somebody else is doing it. And so there's a reason why.
Isn't that all crime?
What about terrorism?
Yeah, like are you going to be permanently scared of terrorism because of 9/11? There hasn't been a terrorist attack since. But are you still going to be worried about brown people?
Oh, bro, did you see Dr. Deborah Soh was back on Rogan and he was saying trans people are animals again?
Oh, good. Great. Cool.
There's an RM Brown video that he did with it.
Great.
So I can find it real quick out of that 20-minute video.
All right, we'll finish on that.
Why it's people, gets more attention in the news because it's considered more horrific.
Well,
and it terrorizes people in a way that teen drinking does not.
Yeah, because guns, when you are using a gun as opposed to using alcohol, we have regulations on what you can do.
I'm losing my fucking mind at how asinine this comparison is. This is the most useless discussion I've ever heard on gun control. This is pointless.
You can't operate machinery, you can't drive when you're drunk. But if we don't...
You're not allowed to use a gun under the influence of anything either. That's illegal. You fucking idiots.
Hey,
praise God.
All day.
Hey!
Hello.
Praise God. Well, anyway, guys, on this beautiful Friday, praise God, I wanted to take a look at online lecturist Joe. What's the guy's name? Joe Rogan. He's an online journalist. I want to take a look at what the hell his ass is up to. You know,
he's always up to something. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Sadly.
Well, there's kids.
Bro, the she's blinking and it's moving her hair, and I cannot stand it. Like, get your hair out of your eyelashes, Deborah. It's because she probably has fake eyelashes on, so she can't even feel it, right?
In class.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, yeah.
That one of my daughter's friends goes to school with this kid who growls. He answers things with like growl and purrs.
No.
Yeah.
Real? How
One
old
of your
is this
daughters
kid?
goes to school.
30. He's 12 or 13.
Sorry.
Why does he do that?
He identifies as an animal.
What, like a dog?
Oh, God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Yeah, so this is something we learned on the Joe Rogan program, a year ago, that there's kids and, warning. I want to warn everybody about this because it's disturbing what I'm about to say. There's kids in schools who are in litter boxes across the nation. It's sweeping the nation. I learned that from a Joe Rogan lecture like a year ago. Now we got this. Growling kids. And there's a guy on Reddit. What's this guy's name? Oniyume. He dug up footage of this kid. And I want to warn everybody again, this is disturbing. I'm going to play the footage of this kid. It's sick. No. Joe, no. Praise God.
Did they record it?
Come on. Stop, Joe.
Well, in some schools, they won't allow you to wear hats in class, but they will allow you to wear cat ears.
No.
Epic, right?
That's hilarious. Let kids wear cat ears. Who gives a shit?
But he's talking out his ass, right? And
No, of
this
course.
girl, the fact that this girl is literally a disgraced scientist, because she pushes this fucking there's one point in this if you just go watch Iron Brown's full video, she starts talking about how she was proud to be in Matt Walsh's "What Is a Woman" documentary and shit.
Oh boy.
So she's a neuroscientist who basically wants to say I think
she's a sex researcher. I thought that's what she was.
Vosh debated her and buried her with basic facts and invalidating any study she brought up by being what with this study, this is what you're referencing.
Also she was a host of one of Quillette's podcasts, so that sort of tells you everything that you need to know.
Dude.
She was a part of Claire Lehman's thing, so you know exactly the type of person she is. Fucking Quillette, piece of shit.
They can't wear can't wear hats, but they can wear cat ears. Okay, are we talking about girls with headbands that may be a little bit too decorative here? Come on, what are we actually talking about? Cat ears.
Okay, so in a 2015 editorial, So criticized the prevalence of childhood gender transition, advertising parents and doctors to wait until the child has reached cognitive maturity, which means what exactly? 25? Because that's cognitive maturity.
Honestly, Vosh tears her apart.
Interesting. So I guess she is probably one of the people that all the trans genocide people like to probably parade around, I'd imagine. I mean, if she's been in Matt Walsh's thing and she's
because she's supposed to be a scientist, so she offers them legitimacy.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Her research, paraphilia. What is that? Paraphilia is the experience or reoccurring or intense sexual arousal to atypical objects, situations, fantasies, behaviors, or individuals. It has also been defined as sexual interest in anything other than a consenting human
My
partner.
Strange Addiction, where people fuck their cars.
Yeah, I guess that's what she studies. So that's kind of interesting. So I guess it kind of makes sense why her discussions would talk about kids who identify as animals. But Joe Rogan is not the person to talk to this about.
Yeah, well, he's also making this up. There is not a kid that his daughter knows at school. My mom
Although
has said the same thing to
he
me. That
does
her
live
friend
in Los Angeles.
My mom has told me that her friends' kids told their mom that they go to school with a kid who poops in a litter box. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Joe Rogan has been like dragged through the mud multiple times on that this shit isn't true, and he's still doing it.
Yeah. But again, this comes back to the thing that I always say is this stems from taking him seriously. Like people take him way too fucking seriously. That's what I think the problem is. And I will fucking die on this hill is I don't think people should be taking this podcast or anything said on it seriously. And I think that the problem is people take it seriously, both critics and fans. And that is a bigger issue. But
well, I mean, like he had fucking like Pemrose on there, you know?
he's had some strange people on recently.
Like it's
Since he
like
moved to Spotify.
you get the like because he has people who are supposed to be doctors and scientists come on.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to bully that one innocent little guy who wants to make vaccines for poor people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad he turned down that because debating anybody on your area of expertise, but not just anybody, fucking Robert Kennedy Jr. You're going to debate the dude who thinks that 5G disrupts the blood-brain barrier on vaccines. Why? Why would you even bother? Like, that's all he needed to do. He's not worth debating.
He did say that.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is he should have gone further and found all these clips of him saying these dumb as fuck things like 5G disrupts the blood-brain barrier and mobile phones give you cancer. Or I guarantee he's a video games make you violent type of person too, right? This kind of dumb. I bet you think.
If you go watch this video by RM Brown, like there's a part where Rogan starts saying that it's because kids play video games that they're trans.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's so good. Fucking hell. Are you gonna play any more of this?
I mean, we can watch some of it. It's just like
we'll watch some of it. We'll finish on.
He's just one of those creators where it's like I just think that it's worth people just go watching them themselves.
Yeah.
Oh my God, society's
okay,
over.
so in What is a Woman? So I'm very, very proud to have been a part of that film. And
praise God.
Matt Walsh is amazing. Justin Folk, director, is amazing. I love the Daily Wire.
Yeah, they're the best.
So they talk about this, and it's. I mean, I know it's happening. I know it's. I believe it's happening.
He talks over
but when I hear it, still,
That's
it just
hilarious.
there's a part of me that's like, what? This is not it. We are not in a serious society anymore.
He does both. He has sound bites and talks over it. And like sometimes he'll like pull sound bites right when he's like doing the voiceover. And like
I mean, this is basically what I was saying is that like this should be the defense, right? But not to invalidate criticism towards him, just that he shouldn't be taken seriously, nor anything said on.
Is that
his
a different Asian lady in a tight sweater who? It's been the same Asian lady, I think. Bro, the last time she was on, bro, the shirt she had on was like she looked so good. Like she was like just like the style of like pop that like I like and totally would be like approach.
Was it like a black shirt?
Besmanov.
Huh?
Was it a black shirt?
No. Oh, it was like, I mean, I'll see.
Interview from I think it was 84.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is so crazy.
I love that he talks over it. That's so funny.
Back then, I'm sure people were like, "Come on, this is nonsense."
Yeah.
This
Right.
is not.
Okay.
But if you look at it now in 2023, like he was telling the truth.
And the whole time
He has to have been telling the truth.
You're definitely
and
right.
that the
It's the
Soviet
same.
Union had planned this out for generations and that they
Right.
knew
What
that
is
this
he
was going to
talking
be a 10, 20, 30-year project.
Praise God.
And it's been successful.
Oh,
And the fact that
been
these
successful.
academics, these people that we
Marxism.
count on to think for us,
right.
we count on to be, the shining light of intellectual discourse, They have
Please.
completely fallen captive to everything that he described, and that they
Right.
are sending that out
Soviet
into the
spies.
world, this mind virus,
Yeah.
and essentially
He's spoken to James
eroding
Lindsay too
all of our confidence in government, all our confidence in civil discourse, all of our confidence in our ability to get along and to understand objective reality. Is
Okay, I watched hours and hours of Joe.
Praise God.
Praise God for Joe. And he cannot stop talking about this guy, Yuri Bezmenov. Every episode, we
Oh
got to
my
hear about
God.
this guy. Here's more.
It seems like it's moving further and further in that direction. And the Yuri Bezmenov thing that you brought up is really interesting because
Oh,
he didn't
God.
have any idea there was ever going to be a social media. This was all being done through
Absolutely.
academic institutions in their minds. And they had
Right.
subverted all these
Mhm.
universities with Marxism and Leninism.
Oh my
and they were
God.
just teaching it to kids and
Right.
telling them that communism.
Okay, hang on. I gotta hit the tab behind it now because I switched the tab. But I gotta. This is here. Come on, give me the tab. I'll show you her shirt when it comes up.
The only question I have is
This is the shirt. So it's like a Playboy, but it's like a
yeah,
close up,
okay.
like.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But like she's also got like kind of like
Better
a punk
hair.
mullet type thing
Mm,
going on.
Yeah. Better look, I reckon.
Is the way, just no one's done it right yet, and that's what gets really crazy. And that's where Yuri Bezmenov was so brilliant in
God.
explaining
You're gonna marry him.
what's going to happen.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, that's my boy Joe right there.
Like my only question with this Russian dude is like, okay, he defected and he said all this shit. What if it was a plant? What if this was
Bro,
this was
every
the
Russian
Soviets all the time?
defector is an insane like, bro. I mean, look at the like Iranian dissident lady. Like,
Yeah.
she's always saying insane shit.
Is it what's her name?
Oh, I forgot.
I'm thinking Rania, but that's Hezbollah TV.
Mm-hmm.
Joe has reached peak peepaw mode. This whole Yuri Bezmenov thing is Joe reaching peak peepaw. Okay. Without going too into this, because it's not funny, but this guy Yuri Bezmenov, who Joe Rogan is really
He's
obsessed
like,
with,
I don't want to go into it because it's not funny.
I would urge looking into him. At least read his Wikipedia. Very interesting guy. Go read about him. Who cares? Who cares? And
praise God.
But blah blah blah. He defected from the Soviet Union. Started giving speeches and writing books and all this stuff. And the basic idea that Joe is taking from this guy is that basically there's like Soviet spies, spread throughout institutions, spreading communism. Spreading communism, and they're infecting the minds of the young to subvert. That's a big thing. Subversion. They're subverting some crap. And I also like Joe. I also like that Joe said that this has happened, and it has happened. That's why we live in the People's Republic of America, which is communist, which is high.
And it's like when haven't enemy nations been trying to infiltrate institutions?
Literally always.
Like, no shit. Like, what
From
you
the
really
beginning
think-
of countries.
Like,
really.
come on, you really think that it's that successful that it completely alters the reality that we live in?
Not even countries. Just the idea of a civilization of people who have an opposition to another civilization of people. I mean, fuck, one of the basic things that you unlock as you progress in Civ is a spy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not out of the question. Like, spies have been around forever. Always been a thing.
Highly communist. This also, I gotta, sorry, but this does show the limits of like using psychedelics to enlighten yourself, because this, if you put the littlest bit of thought into this, it just immediately falls apart. Because Joe's applying this to like colleges today, these hotbeds of communism.
He's missing
American
the James Lindsay
colleges,
connection.
where people mostly go to try to make more money back. They see college just purely as an investment. But anyway, the idea is like, oh, there's all these people, they're agents, then they're trying to spread, to overthrow, to subvert. They're professors at colleges are agents trying to subvert American culture.
I mean, there has
and
been
I don't know,
arrests.
we got to
It has
get their ass or something. How exactly do we know if they're agents? Like, how would we spot the difference between somebody
well,
who
if they let
just
the
is
kids wear
not
cat ears, that's how we
sharing the right-wing views of Joe, or maybe they're just leftists because they read books about it and they agree with it, and an agent? How would we How would we spot these subversives exactly? I don't know. We got to root them out. We
Holy
got to
shit.
smoke them out. I think
Pause
that's
it.
just somebody who has a different opinion than you.
Life in India, propaganda work and disillusionment. Where before here? Bezmenov did not do real freelance writing. Instead, Bezmenov edited and planted propaganda materials in foreign media and accompanied delegation to Novostol's guests from foreign countries on tours of Soviet Union or international conferences held in the Soviet Union. So he was a propagandist. And we think that this propagandist is not doing propaganda in his writings. Okay. Okay. Sure. Whatever you say. Must be true.
Joe's the actual woke one. You're the one who's
Mhm.
asleep.
Must be.
You maybe they're on the left and you're on the right. No, they're an agent. We're gonna smoke their ass out. It's kind of a little bit seems like a slippery slope. But this is what I love about Joe is that like over and over again, he's like, people fall for these narratives, man. People fall for the
People get stuck to their stories, bro.
people get stuck to their stories, and Joe's like repeating basically like a Cold War Red Scare. You know, there's a agent, there's a KGB agent around every corner story, and that's why we love Joe and why we say praise God for Joe.
And so they're trying to get funding, they're teaching, they're juggling a million different things if you're a legitimate academic. So these other ones who are
Right.
ideological and have nothing better to do publish
Paper
these
eyelash.
crazy papers that make no sense.
Oh,
and they have all the time in the world to basically subvert the younger generation and to indoctrinate these kids.
Right.
So I
KGB
really just
agents.
think everything
Hey.
is going to have to burn.
Hey,
not-
Debbie. KGB agents, I said. Secret agents.
Definitely
Secret
wrong.
agents trying to subvert what? The country? Praise God. We need to name some of the names of these secret agents. I'll name one. CK Louis. He's a subversive. You know, goddamn Joe needs to do something about this. You know, he has this club in Austin, the Comedy Mothership. Why not do a weekly show? You know, the Comedy Mothership hearings on un-American activities or something like that. Okay, let's do more learning on the Joe show. Here we go.
I just I feel in my position and being so privileged to be on your show to draw awareness to this, because I think there's so much
Absolutely.
talk culturally about grooming.
Whoa.
People talking about how they don't like groomers, and I agree. I think a lot of education. I used to be very much in favor of sex education for kids. I'm a little bit questioning that now because I see how that is also being used for ideological subversion.
Right.
But I think
Hey, Debbie, can I speak?
Again?
Can't hear you.
Be agents.
Sorry, I forgot the one is pausing here. Canada, they're going to be like, you can't say groomers when you're talking about like gay people. You can't just call
Okay.
people groomers because they're gay. And now they're saying,
Well,
oh,
it's
well,
defamatory.
well, yeah, well, Canada already has these speech laws in place. They're not America,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now people are like, oh, Canada is fallen. We got to get out of here. And now they want to come to our country as illegals. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Close the Canadian
They do this
border.
every time. Jordan Peterson's entire career is made on how freedom doesn't exist in Canada because you are forced to identify people as their gender.
Now he's on his fascist Christian arc.
society.
I did not know this, that the KGB agents have also gotten into schools and they're using sex ed to subvert the nation.
I used to be very much in favor of sex
researcher.
education for kids. I'm a little bit questioning that now because I see how
She's like anti-sex ed as a sex researcher.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
that is also being used for ideological.
I would like to see her and Joe's studies and evidence on this. But it's pretty scary. The KGB agents have also gotten into what the hell is this thing called? The Journal of Adolescent Health. What the hell is this study called? 3 decades of research. The case for comprehensive sex education. Comprehensive education. Results. Outcomes include appreciation of sexual diversity, dating and intimate partner violence prevention,
Important.
development of healthy relationships,
Right.
prevention of child sex abuse,
Excellent.
improved social/emotional learning, and increased media literacy. Those seem
Right.
good. Those all seem like benefits of sex education. But again, this probably was written by a secret agent.
And you're like,
You're an anti-vaxxer. What are you, a conspiracy theorist? You fool.
Whoa.
Darwin's going to do its work with you.
Joe. Oh no! Alert! Joe's gone full Jim Brewer mode.
Praise God.
Okay, so that's about as much as I could take of Joe and Debbie. So Joe got a big guest here, and I did not crop this wrong. He's just all shoved to the side in this shot. Come on, man, get that angle on point. Get that angle on. But this is one of the big directors, Tyler Sheridan. He did what kind of crap did he do? Hell or High Water, pretty good movie. Yellowstone. I think he did the thing where Sylvester Stallone is a gangster. He's like a mafia guy, and he goes to like a small town. I watched some of that, and I gotta say, it's probably one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. I do like some of this guy's stuff, but good God, was that thing unwatchable. Thank you. But this is amazing. You got a big director. Joe can talk about whatever he wants to this goddamn guy.
Oh, no.
Let's see what Joe talks about.
Well, that's the Yuri Bezmenov thing.
Oh,
You've seen that,
Joe,
right?
not again.
Yuri
No.
Bezmenov. Oh, you haven't? It's amazing.
Let it go, Joe.
It's a guy in 1984. He's a defector from the KGB. He's explaining the ideological subversion that they've imparted in these American institutions. How they've done that, exactly what you're talking about. How they started injecting Marxism and Leninism. And he's talking about how many generations it takes before you destroy the morale of the country and all faith in democracy. And it's essentially what we're seeing now. But he was saying it has already begun.
You're
this
frozen.
ideological subversion. I'm not shocked.
Me either.
I mean, if you think about all the things that we do to manipulate other countries, I'm not
Absolutely.
shocked that someone would do that, manipulate us, and
Yep.
that they would do it through
Spies around every corner, yes.
education
He needs to stop talking to
institutions.
Russell
That's the way
Brand.
to do it. You have
Subversives,
kids,
yes.
and then you train them as they leave, and then they go into the workforce.
Yep.
They have these ideas like burned into their heads.
Yeah.
And that's probably what all this gender confusion shit is. This giant uptick of it. It's literally probably engineered.
Absolutely.
And I think
By
that's
spies.
also
Joe, Jesus, Joe, am I allowed to speak? By spies, I said. Soviet
Spies.
you son of a
Hold on,
bitch.
pause it.
Praise God.
Not just spies of a dead empire that hasn't existed for 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, come the fuck on.
Peak peepaw mode, bro.
I'm sure we are.
It's a psyop, right?
Yeah, I'm sure we're doing it
Tyler.
too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that Tyler Sheridan and Joe are really vibing here. Why doesn't Tyler Sheridan make a show out of this? I mean, Joe's wildly popular. Have Joe in
I'd
this
watch that
show.
show.
It'll be Joe. Check this out. Listen to this.
Called The
Who wouldn't watch this show? It's Joe and Sylvester Stallone. They go undercover. They pose as students and they go back to college. You know, one of the professors looks at Sylvester Stallone. He's like, "How old are you?" I'm 18 years old. I'm 18 years old. I'm 18. Sylvester Stallone has like a Billie Eilish shirt on, you know, all this crap. And then they capture these secret agent professors and they bring them in front of a trial at the Comedy Mothership in Austin. And they try them for un-American activities. That would be a good show. Okay, was I calling him Tyler? What's the guy's name? Taylor Sheridan. God damn it. God damn it. And
praise God.
Taylor Sheridan. Oh, he really starts to cook with this crap. Check this out.
Yeah.
You have to see it.
Paul Harvey, you know who that is?
Sure.
Yes, I do.
So he did a thing back in the 60s or 70s. And He equated it to the devil. And maybe it is. Or you could also say it's just that. But he did a radio piece on how to destroy America, the social fabric of it.
Right.
Wow.
And it's as though somebody just took America,
Everything.
the social fabric of America from the late 60s to today.
Amazing.
And the timeline of the things that he said. It's pretty wicked. It's pretty powerful.
Oh my God, I love this.
Crazy.
I actually do love this. I love Paul
Amazing.
Harvey, not because he said anything interesting, which I don't think he did, but Paul Harvey was a radio guy. He was like a radio guy forever. And this guy like leaned into the radio voice so hard. It's the funniest thing. Hello, this is Paul Harvey. Like that kind of thing. It's insane. And he's the greatest. Okay, before we get into this video, check out Paul Harvey's sign off. Listen to this.
In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
What is
A
Paul
doofus.
Harvey? Good day. Okay, let's watch this video that came true from 1965. Here we go.
So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States.
Oh.
I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve. Do as you please.
That's in the Bible. That's in the Bible. You
Praise
dirty
God.
bitch.
To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around.
Good morning, American. A beautiful day across the whole USA.
It really does
This guy
sound
rules.
forced.
We got to bring this crazy old-timey radio voice back for the
I
YouTube
agree.
Zoomers, you know?
Hello, YouTube. Now for you, a
Was it?
video by Playboy Cardi.
So you know what's funny though is the voice of the 40s and 50s and 60s, that radio voice, was only because of the microphones.
Yeah, they had ribbon mics.
Yeah, it was only because the microphones weren't able to pick up certain vocal tones, so they preferred those kind of vocal tones. And now that microphones are much better, you don't have to. It's not necessary to put on that voice because it was a trained voice, right? These were all trained media people that was trained how to work in radio. Because if you're not going into TV, you're going into radio, right? Generally, as newspaper, radio, or TV, there is no anything else at this time. I mean, there's independent, but yeah, most people wanted to be in corporate press. So it's just very interesting. That's why.
Praise God. Okay, I love Joe's reaction. They're watching this Paul Harvey video from the 60s. Check out Joe's reaction.
With diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Holy shit.
Praise God.
1965.
But guys, we do have to
Praise God.
for the Joe program. You know, he gives us a lot of gems. And here's the final clip of this episode of Joe. Joe's one of those guys, Dave Rubin is kind of like this, who has a subreddit that's just devoted to making fun of him. And they really liked this one. This is like an amazing clip, you know, but keep in mind, Joe's whole thing is like, man, people get stuck on their stories, their narratives, and then you could give them all the evidence and they just stick to their stories. Check this out.
And I didn't even send it to you because I'm like, I can't even, I have to talk with you about this.
Oh, okay.
Is Canada's overall life expectancy.
Oh.
Yes.
That might be the craziest statistic in the world right now. You've
Oh.
seen this, right?
Yes.
Went
Since
down.
1930, of course, it goes this way,
goes
this way,
up.
this way, this way, because you fucking live longer because it's fucking technology and medicine.
Right,
And then
and then-
2020 it levels, and then it starts to go down. It's down 2.5 years since 2020,
Wow.
which is unheard of.
What happened?
Yeah.
Unprecedented. What could that possibly be from?
I don't know, Tony.
Weird.
So strange. It's not like there was a gigantic medical intervention that was forced upon the population.
I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
That's
So instead of
it's like the
concluding
next level being stuck to your narrative
that it was
situation.
COVID, they
What
concluded
could
it was the
possibly
vaccine.
happen
Nice.
in 2020 to lower life expectancy in a bunch of countries. It's kind of funny. Just go to the Reddit. It's the Joe Rogan subreddit. This one's called Rogan and Hinchcliffe Explain Why Canada Life Expectancy Fell. Just read the responses. You know, people point out all the problems with their like anti-vax thing here. But that's not the funniest part. The funniest part to me about this is that they're like, man, you know, stuff's bad for you. Stuff's bad for you. Hold on, let me take a drag of this cigarette indoors.
I am not putting that in my body.
But that's Joe. We love him. You know, he's on there, whatever, doing whatever he wants.
But guys, oh my God, did you forget that it is Friday?
You know, we'd be doing on Friday.
There you go. That's his whole episode.
Great. All right. I am very warm. I'm gonna go sit in front of the air conditioning for a little bit.
Bro, I do not understand it. It like hurts my brain.